be alright. Ooh, all night, alright. Dance with you. Why do you gotta? Ooh, all night, alright. Dance with slow. Give it up, gonna be alright. Ooh, all night, alright. Dance with you. Why do you gotta? Ooh, all night, alright. So slow. Give it up, gonna be alright. Give it up, gonna be alright.
To introduce myself. Who knows what dastardly crime he might perpetrate next?
He's a very clever arch criminal who must be put away. Another innocent victim of the suicidal maniac.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SMITE Challenger Circuit on this beautiful Sunday. I am here, your host today, Rog the Dwarf, and with me is the one and only J-Mac Tucker. And hey, J-Mac, we got a big day today.
It's going to be potentially a long day. It's the NA Power Week. All matches are being played up today, and our first one is going to be the Grabowskis and Zeno and the Bots.
And well, they've already started the picks and bans here. Grabowski's banning out the Scylla, Zeno and the Bots. The Kukulkan, Grabowski's banning out Scylla, man. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, Scylla first ban is a little bit strange onto this one. Maybe just trying to take a shot at El Chapo, who is playing mid for Zeno and the Bots. But outside of that, the rest of the bans seem a little bit standard, aside from maybe the Athena ban.
Yeah, I mean, we see, we got the Artio ban coming out and the Athena ban as well. So, I mean, kind of a meta ban and then kind of an off meta ban. That's a little weird as we start out this one. But Grabowski's going ahead and picking up the Erlong Shen, more than likely going into solo.
Yeah, but we have seen Erlong Shen go into multiple roles. He can jungle, he can solo, he can go into the support role if you really want something crazy with that one. And, well, they just want to make sure that they don't go with any composition that's too tanky by locking in this Nemesis.
Nemesis, yeah, you're absolutely right, man. That Nemesis is great for just shredding through some tanks, but it doesn't stop the Grabowskis from picking out the Fafnir. And hey, as a Dwarf fan, man, I love that pickup, of course. Hey, well, looks like Osiris for Zeno and the Bots, and then Hu Yi for the Grabowskis, shaping up to be a pretty nice composition for Grabowskis over here.
Well, with that, Grabowskis have locked in their duo lane, giving Diesel the Ho Yi, and over onto the flip side, giving Xenotronics the Jing Wei, kind of the two hunters that we've really kind of seen the biggest rise of and are the kind of the most prominent ones at the moment. Only other one might be Kernanos and Rom, but they're just going to go with two of what they feel are their better hunters.
Yeah, we haven't seen as much ROM coming out here lately as Zeno and the Bots ban out the Thoth. Why do you think that is, J-Mac? Why don't we see ROM as much anymore?
It's a little weird that we don't see him. Games have been going later, and as we all know, when the games go later, Rom just gets more powerful when he starts getting either his crit online or if he just goes for that full pin build. His auto attacks start chunking. He has that ult to go up into the sky, but teams are really just focusing the early poke, the early pressure, and that's really what Ho Yi and Jing Wei can provide. With bans coming through, Thoth and Ra taken away by Zeno and the Bots. Grabowski's take away two supports in Sobek and Ganesh.
Yeah, it looks like they are target banning Incon over here for Zeno and the Bots. Incon was playing support for Zeno and the Bots today. Najah Kukulkan picked up, or not Kukulkan, my bad, picked up for Grabowski's. Zeno and the Bots still have their last one. But yeah, kind of targeted over there to Incon, making sure that he doesn't get somebody that he wants to play, but hey, they still leave Terra on the table.
Well, if it's a female support, Incon will play it. He's kind of like Kiki So Cheeky of the supports. You know, he likes the big beefy women to be able to be the front line for their team. And Terra's going to be able to do that very well. Provides a lot of CC, though won't be as much with the slow being up there instead of the root, but still a very favorable pick.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just so much that she brings, honestly, to this to these matchups. Lots of setup, lots of protection, and even a little bit of heal as well as we get into the start of this one. And hey, looking forward to a great set here. Of course, we look on the right side, Xeno and the bots. A lot of these names we recognize.
And over for the Grabowskis, if you followed the CC, you recognize a lot of these names. One that's new to the Grabowskis table is going to be Man Ray, taking the place of Elpadog this time around.
Yeah, Man Ray subbing in for today, but I mean, still, Mexiety, Shadow Q, Diesel, all of these guys pair up really well. Grabowskis really show up to a lot of their games. They're not afraid to take some of these early engagements and win some of these team fights.
And, well, kind of as we've seen for most of the amateur scene, meta is a lot of priority over onto the solo lane. You can see both junglers have moved over with their respective solo laners, trying to get that early pressure, try and get that first kill going, try and get their solo laners ahead.
Yeah, and it just looks kind of weird. We have Diesel and Shadow Q over here in the Gold Fury pit, kind of dancing around. I'm not sure, why they're hanging out over there just this early.
Oh, well, it's even stranger. Xenotronic sitting in the mid lane with El Chapo. Normally, we never see the Hunter make these kinds of strange rotations over, but now you can see Diesel and Shadowkey just want to go ahead and invade onto this red buff. And, well, they got a Hoyi Fafnir, two gods who are very good at being able to invade onto buffs. They'll drop that red buff, no problem. They're going to put Man Ray under tower in mid, but he's more than happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the Kukulkan can just sit there, throw out the tornado. He's going to be fine, and that might be one of the reasons why. Xenotronics is really starting over there is to get that early pressure on Kukulkan, because that big wind serpent there. He really has a great early laning phase once he gets, just a couple of ranks in that tornado.
Yeah, the tornado does deal a lot of damage because it sits there, it persists for quite a while onto the wave, and then even when it fades away, there's still the dot damage afterward. So once he gets that second, third rank in, he's going to be able to clear that one out, no problem. You can see he's rushing for the Book of Fall, which I always like to see is pretty much the standard and probably most staple item in the game for a Kukulkan.
And he's going to be able to stack that up so easily. Once again, that big tornado right there in the mid. He's going to be able to stack that up so easily. Plus, with his passive, hang on, Shadow Q jumping in, gets some good poke on to Xenotronics. Going to force him back just a little bit.
It's really strange seeing that Xenotronics has been sticking around the mid lane as opposed to their support, where Incon, he's just been free farming into the duo lane, really just trying to get a little bit of farm for himself, try and keep that Terra online, but finally, Xenotronics got to make the rotation over, go back to his respective lane.
I'm not real sure why you leave the support over there to solo farm. But like I said, unless you really want to make sure that you have a lot of pressure, hang on to that thought. Plasma's in some trouble on the solo lane. He gets hit by the Naja, but makes it back underneath tower. Plasma, he's got to be careful, man. That Naja can be able to catch him out pretty easily. And
Mexiety actually caught him on the second portion of the dash there, and luckily, he didn't catch him out on the first one. It could have been even more troublesome for him. But for now, Plasma going to be able to get out of danger. And this is just going to be a game of big boy teams here. These guys really want to come out here. They're fighting for the seed in the gauntlet. They don't want to go back into relegations. We saw Xeno and the bots have to fight their way to stay out of it last time.
Yeah, and it was really unfortunate for him because if you look at the players on Xeno and the bots, a lot of these guys are, have been pro players before, sitting here in the Challenger circuit with us today. So they really want to get back up to that level that they once were.
Almost a first blood over in the duo lane. Diesel dropped down the Suns on his Xenotronics, but Xeno was able to get out of it in time, and now 2-level lead for the Ho Yi. A little bit of trouble for Xeno on this Jingwei, but with the power of Jingwei, he's going to be able to come back to the lane pretty easily, help farm up those back camps with Plasmas. He threw that whirlwind over the wall.
Yeah, and that has to be, a lot of that has to be how Xenotronics started out there in the mid lane, helping out his mid laner and putting Incon over there. So, Incon gets a little more experience. Xenotronics loses a little bit. Instead of, usually we see the duo lane is the new solo lane where they leave the hunters over there to farm by themselves.
Yeah, well, in that case, they wanted to throw the support to farm by themselves and try and get Incon a little ahead, but it's kind of backfired on them because Incon's still sitting level 4, Xeno just getting to level 6 himself. Now looking for an invade onto this topside red buff. Diesel and Mexiety going to take it, but Xeno is going to have to dash away.
Zeno also used his ultimate on there to try to secure those. I mean, he does get one of the creeps, but loses the buff. And then, Diesel Shadow Q, they're going to go over here and get that Void buff, and they will secure it despite the wind gust from Jinwei.
One of the buffs that we really don't talk a whole lot about is like, all right, well, they got the purple buff, no big deal, but that Aura Protection Shred buff is actually very powerful in the early game when gods really don't have a whole lot to themselves, just their minor base protection. So getting that onto a god like Fafnir, even getting it onto a god like Terra to be able to jump into the front line and really take them down with these super powerful ultimates from the early game mages.
Yeah, it's almost like a minor, what am I thinking of? The Void Stone, almost like a minor Void Stone for physical protections. What's the physical one?
Void Shield.
Void Shield, there we go. It's something like that. That's almost like that, where it does, shred protections as long as you're around. So, I mean, it's a great buff.
Well, looking for a fight over here onto the right-hand side. First all goes on to Xenon Hawk, but, I mean, he's out right away. That was the quickest disengage of a fight I've ever seen.
Yeah, and Nemesis expends her ultimate there, that Divine Judgment. The rest of Grabowski's will swing around for the blue buff, give that over to the Erlong Shen. But yeah, Plasma, his ultimate's going to be down for just a little bit. Used it, but you're right, man. Just in and out.
Yeah, that was immediate. Ult comes through, sprints popped, everybody just stops. That was the exact way that the fight went.
Farming up here in the early stages of the game, but look at the Grabowskis, man, already sitting at about 1,200 gold just on the strength of this early farm alone. I mean, we don't have haven't had any real big invades except over on the red buff. For the Grabowskis, they did get Xeno and the bots red buff there just a little bit earlier. Grouping up as 3 here in the mid lane are Xeno and the bots, but Mexiety swings over, kind of evens the tables.
A little bit of a strange pathing for the builds here. Xenotronics opted for their boots too, and then going for the Devourer's Gauntlet, so not wanting to finish those up just yet. Maybe didn't have quite enough gold the last time they got sent back to base. But they're going to be able to get those online, start stacking them up, as Diesel himself, in fact, rushed the Devourer's Gauntlet, so he'll be getting a few earlier stacks.
Yeah, his power spike will be online a little bit earlier, and won't quite have the movement speed, but yeah, that power is going to be coming real quick as he and Xeno kind of box it out in the left side. On the right side, Xenon Hawk and Uzi going back and forth here. Uzi forcing Xenon Hawk back underneath tower. Big old Osiris, he's going to be a bully in that lane.
So we've got Xeno and Xenon, man. This is going to be a fun game to go on about. It's not as bad. Yesterday, I had a game where it was a player named Soul, and on their same team, they had somebody playing Soul. It gets confusing, or, there's always Rama, never playing Ram. I mean, we get crazy names like that all the time, but looking on for Man Ray, but he's going to be able to get out.
Yeah, he will. He does use that slipstream to get out, and unfortunately for El Chapo, he uses that big Earthshaker over the top. Divine Judgment once again expended. 2 ultimates down, and still nothing to show for it.
I mean, look at the relic choices for the Grabowskis. Both the tankier members, the Fafnir and the Erlong Shen, have opted for Sprint as their relic. This is how scared and how respectful they are towards this crazy amount of slows that the side of Xeno and the bots have.
That's just an awful lot of slows, man. They can really keep it down between Uzi, between Plasma, and Incon, of course, on the Terra. Her recent change, that she's going to be doing a slow instead of a root now. So you're absolutely correct. They just can slow you down, and it's going to be so hard. Fortunately, that sprint will help out. But Uzi and Xenon Hawk over here, Lord of the Afterlife, up and down onto Xenon. Both ultimates are expended. Xenon will be okay once that regeneration comes through. Solo laners doing solo lane things.
And the Oracle Harpies going the way of the Grabowskis, and you saw in the mid lane, Mexiety tried to get aggressive onto El Chapo, got his beats immediately just off the sash, and you know that that's going to be their next target. Mexiety can find one stun onto El Chapo, can find one little pick, that's going to be his prime target.
El Chapo does have on the Vulcan especially, he does have a lot of ways to kind of peel for himself. But once those are down, he can definitely be caught out pretty easily. And, that's what they're going to be looking for, because late game, it's going to be Chapo and Xeno. Those are the guys you're looking for the damage output there.
Elementals go the way of Xeno and the bots, able to throw out that wall from Incon's Terra just to make sure that Mexiety can't walk up with that. And Because of it, McSide's just going to go back to base, spend up some of his gold, but on the left-hand side, they're looking for Xenotronics.
Once again, the ultimate is expanded. Shadowkeep jumping in there, and the Suns rain down. But Jingwei, man, she is so fast. Gets out of there with little trouble at all.
Not only that, Incon's ultimate helped to get him out as well, provide that extra movement speed, and in case they took a little too much damage, a little bit of extra heal for it. And now Incon and Plasma looking for the rotation onto Diesel. He's going to get the jump off and get away from the enemy team.
Oh, man, he saw that one coming. He was already up in the dive bomb as soon as Incon poked his head around the corner. And just a great awareness there from Diesel.
Oh, but look, you can see him excited. He's looking for something now. He placed down the ward. It's 3 members of Xeno and the bots looking for it, but the sash is not going to be good. Xenotronics, he might not make it out.
Ooh, he does not. Diesel will finally pick it up. First blood going to the Grabowskis. Very nice play right there. It's going to set up the invade here in the jungle, but Chapo and Incon, they're not going to want to give up this red buff that easily.
The big thing is they didn't waste any ultimates to get that kill either. They just went there straight out with their regular out abilities. Now that's going to open up the Gold Fury if they wish to go for it. Diesel doesn't have the Suns, but Xenotronics doesn't have any way to get in. Incon's ult is still down, and Man Ray does still have a big securing ultimate with that Serpent of the 9 Winds, but more than anything, they're just looking to try and keep anybody from getting this red buff.
They're dancing around it. We're doing the red buff dance here today. While the rest of Xeno and the bots will try to take their own void buff. We see the pings coming out here in the mid lane, but I'm not real sure if Mexadi can quite make the play on El Chapo. He is sucked too far underneath base.
Well, Uzzie's all the way over here on the right-hand side. Xenohawk spots him out, pumps a little bit of damage, and Man Ray going to throw a few abilities of his own, but Xenohawk's the one who's getting turned on.
And El Chapo is coming around. Once again, the Divine Judgment is used. Earthshaker over the top. Doesn't quite make it, though. Man, they're really trying to combine those two ultimates and just haven't found a good one. But Uzi, he is ticking away and escapes with a sliver of health. That tornado just not quite enough just yet.
He was just probably about 2 feet away from aggroing that Fire Giant, and that would have been the ultimate feels bad man for Uzi. But luckily for him, he's going to be able to get back to base, like he said, with just a sliver of HP. But now the 2 Hunters trying to box it out on the bottom side by the buff. Xenotronics unrelenting on the Diesel despite being 2 levels down.
He is really pushed up in this jungle. It's got to be careful, man. As you mentioned, he is levels down. But they will swing over to the Gold Fury pit and be sure to claim Vision over there, taking out those oracles.
Well, he's going to be able to drop his own Void buff as well. So Diesel going to hold on to his lead, where the rest of the team all just kind of sitting a little bit even, aside from Mexide, who does have a 2-level lead of his own into the jungle. That opts him for his second relic, which Mexide's going for the very aggressive route with the Blink.
A little bit of boxing back and forth in the duo lane here. Diesel goes in really aggressive, just misses, but here comes Shadow Q on the Fafnir. Kind of peeks his head around, make sure that his Hunter's going to be okay to go back to base, and then he's swinging back to mid. Kind of a slower paced game earlier. I mean, we're 12 minutes in. We only have a 1 kill on the board and just about a 2,000 gold lead here for the Grabowskis.
Well, this is a big week for these teams. All their matches that normally we'd spread over 3 weeks at a time are all being played today. So these teams are going to be playing a lot of sets. They're going to make sure to feel out their opponents because 2 members are going to relegations. 1 team is going to the Gauntlet. Everybody wants to fight for that spot. They don't want to make any mistakes. They don't want to risk going back down to that relegation spot.
There is just a lot on the line for this one. We also see over here Shadow Q and Diesel hanging around that red buff once again. They have the timer on it. They know exactly when it respawns. Incon does hit Diesel with the wall clap. We'll get the stun. Xeno returns the favor. The stun, or Shadow Q returns the favor onto Xeno. Gets the stun here, and the fight has broken out. Spirit of the 9 Winds goes over, and so does the Earthshaker right on top. The Suns rain down on top of Incon. He's just kind of standing in there, and they will claim the red buff once again. Lots of ultimates, lots of fighting there, and for a buff, for the red buff.
Yeah, they threw out 6 ultimates between the 2 teams, and nobody died, and all that got claimed in the midst of it was just the red buff. They're really prioritizing this buff over really anything else. You could see that they wanted Man Ray. Man Ray got, or Mexide got very low into that one. Took the Earthshaker ultimate, but luckily for him, it's early enough to where it's not going to be able to one-shot you come 25, 30 minutes, Mexciati might need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, very, very careful. It's just kind of crazy, the prioritization of this red buff on Xeno and the bot side of the map. I mean, we usually don't see anybody put that much effort into securing that buff right there. It was just a huge team fight.
Yeah, and this early on, like you said, 1 kill so far. A lot of fighting,
Yeah.
but not a lot of blood has been shed.
Oracles are about to respawn. We kind of see the pings coming out over there. And once again, you know, Man Ray, he can just do this AFK farm. He's already got the fully stacked Book of Thought. Does have his penetration boots on. And got the Magic Focus penetration coming up. Xeno and the bots, they will claim vision in the Oracle pit there. But El Chapo, oh, he excited, goes in really aggressive, but the turnaround is pretty good as well. Incon with the dash. It's back in the tornado. Once again, call to disengage. Everybody is just walking on eggshells.
Plasma really trigger happy with that ultimate. Gets Mexciati again with it, but once more, just able to get away. Nobody is fully committing onto these fights. Everybody's just kind of haphazardly throwing abilities. And Plasma just kind of haphazardly throwing that ultimate out there whenever he can. Since they couldn't find another kill with it, it's going to be back on cooldown yet again. And no relics were forced in that one. They didn't have to waste a sprint. They didn't need to waste a beads or anything like that.
And Plasma has been throwing that out. I mean, we see it to engage quite a bit, but you know, Grabowski's is such a great team here. They recognize that as soon as that thing comes down, that they need to get the heck out of there, because whoever that Divine Judgment lands on top of, they're about to get shredded. So they know just as soon as that comes through, disengage. Shadow Q over here in the duo lane throws a hammer. Xenotronics gets slowed out by Incon. Looked like we might have an engagement there, but no, nothing doing.
Yeah, let me tell you, good luck trying to catch Diesel with those walls. Incon, every time he makes that rotation, has been unsuccessful hitting it. Shadow Q again, trying to be aggressive onto Xenotronics, but he's going to be able to dash away from the hammer that time. Diesel just going to stand in the damage just because he knows that he can take it. Why not? And now again, group up at the red buff.
Yeah, they are just... I cannot believe that they are prioritizing this buff just so much. The tornado comes out, and the grenade over the top. Do they claim it? Do they get it? Who got that one?
Diesel picked that one up for himself. They able to claim that for the Grabowskis yet again. I've seen a lot of fighting for a speed buff, never this much for a red buff, and now Uzi's being turned on to the mid lane.
Yeah, Incon, he does use his ultimate. That will help his solo laner get on out of there. And all the ultimates coming out. Uzi get hit with a big Spirit of the Nine Winds. Shell is used, and he is going to be okay getting back to safety. The fight, disengage. Man, everybody is, like I said, man, walking on eggshells. Nobody wants to make a mistake here.
I mean, we're starting to get to the point of the game where 2 ultimates is not going to be enough to kill these solo laners. Despite not having much magical protection, he took the full brunt of Mexciati's ult and the full brunt of Man Ray's ult, still was able to walk away. And it seemed that as soon as he got knocked up into the air, it wasn't going to do good. But on the left, Xenotronics finally gets that boxing match he wants with Diesel.
Yeah, he 1v1'd him there, even though he used the Suns. Xenon Hawk will take out Incon. The Draconic Corruption is used. So is the Lord of the Afterlife on top of 2. Xenon Hawk is in a lot of trouble. And Shadow Q, he's trying to do his best to bill for the team. And they will get out okay. But still, Xenotronics on the left side, answering back a little bit for Xeno and the bots.
Well, now the scoreboard reads 2-1 for the Grabowskis with the boxing match on the left. Everybody else decided, well, it's our turn to fight here on the right, and they're able to trade that one out, claiming Incon. But Incon for a Hunter, Xeno the bots, they'll take that all day. They'll take it every day. But so far, no objective focus from either of these two teams. Gold Fury hasn't even been looked at. Neither has the Portal Demon.
No, they've been too busy claiming the red buff. Oh, the Xenotronics, he does get a little bit of minions pushed up underneath tower, and Xeno and the bots will claim vision in the Gold Fury pit. So if somebody wants to start it, I would imagine it'll be Xeno and the bots, but look for the response from the Grabowskis to be really, really quick. Mexciati uses his blink through the wall. He wanted to engage on Chapo, but couldn't quite find it. Incon dashing in, gets the slow onto 2. Once again, disengage.
Man Ray with that slipstream, he's going to get that slow immunity, the slow cleanse to make sure that he is not going to get caught out by the Terra slow. And really, that's kind of a matchup we didn't talk much about because the Terra was picked last. But Hoken, pretty decent against the Terra. Doesn't have to worry about the slow anymore. Now that's not a root, he can deal with getting away. And now Xenon Hawk trying to put some damage out into Uzi, who's going to have to go back to his tower.
Yeah, the Terra, like we mentioned just a little bit earlier, she did have the change to the monolith. That whenever she dashes, you used to root, but now does a 30% slow, which is significant. But slipstream that'll get you out. Not to mention, we already mentioned all the sprints as well.
2 sprints, make that 3 now. Manray's picked up one of his own. I'm excited getting aggressive on the Incon. Just gonna get the sash out, but take a little bit too much damage in return. Now on the left side, Diesel has to be careful of going up against Xenotronics.
Yeah, Xeno went in pretty aggressively there, but man, I got to give it to Diesel. He has been on point with those dive bombs. Just really great at recognizing these rotations and not getting caught out.
So I figured out the reason why this game is going slow. We're not watching a game of Smite. We're actually watching Farm Simulator 2017, and so far Grabowskis are coming out on top. They've got about 1,200 more gold, about 3,000 more experiences. So far, they've been playing this game just a little bit better. They've been practicing their Farm Simulator.
That's right. They bought the big tractor for this one. So yeah, that's just really a very slow, a very methodically paced game. We have seen some of these engagements, but really they haven't gone quite anywhere. DCF grouping on the right-hand side. Maxiety will get stunned out. And we've seen a lot of fighting over minor objectives today. Diesel, he's in some trouble on the left, though the Suns do come out, but Plasma is right on top. And Incon's ultimate has been used. They're going to be able to chase him down. Diesel, oh, there he goes. Plasma will tie the kills up 2-2.
And so far, Diesel's the only one in Grabowski's who's been dying, but this entire time, he's been either even or ahead of Xenotronics. That just shows how much more farm he's been getting this game compared to his opposing Hunter. And over on the right-hand side, Xenon Hawk actually stole that speed buff over the wall with the pin.
That was a good shot there. And he's got to be careful, though. Uzi, he's going for the blue. If Uzi can steal this away, it will put Xenon Hawk at a little bit of a disadvantage for just a little bit. But pin over the wall. Oh, he almost had a repeat there.
Thought he had that one for him, but now Uzi just going to throw out the sicko to put a little bit of damage. And finally, the first kind of objective-minded fight that we're seeing. Oracle Harpies being started up, but not being finished off just yet. Plasma going to pull them back to his way. Going to get Oracle Vision for his team now. And now the Gold Fury started up by Xeno in the box.
There we go. This is an objective here, and it is already going down pretty quick, and they do claim it. Shadow Q just not in time. Draconic Corruption is used, but Incon with a great wall place. Let's make sure he gets the stun. What the hell was that ultimate from El Chapo? Way off the mark. Xenotronics is forced out of there as well. They claim the objectives, and they get away with it.
Not only that, Maxiety blink ulted over the wall, didn't catch anybody out either, so 2 botched ultimates from both teams. But in the end, Xeno in the box, they walk away clean. They don't lose any lives. They get the Gold Fury, and they only had to expend Chapo's ultimate, which at this point, he didn't really care too much about it.
No, I mean, that ultimate, it doesn't have quite as long of a cooldown as some of the other ones, so it is a great source of damage. And sometimes, we talk about NA ults, we talk about zoning ults, but hey, that's a true story sometimes. You just toss those big AoE ults out of there just for area of denial.
Well, more than anything, it's if the Grabowskis chose to back off, that kind of forced them to come towards them. But when Maxiety blinked in, missed the ult, both teams were just like, okay, well, we didn't really want to fight, so we're just gonna back off. But now Grabowskis, after losing that Gold Fury, they want to get the Portal Demon, but Incon's here, he's gonna try and get it. Serpent of 9 wins from Man Ray, gonna be good to secure that one.
And the Speed Relic has been used. Uzi is in some trouble around the back. Lord of the Afterlife up and down in place. No chase. They'll let him get away.
No, everybody's going to get away again. Once more, objectives secured. Both teams throw out a little bit of damage, throw out a little ultimates, and, well, nothing hits, so they don't want to go in onto it. 23.5 minutes in, only 4 kills, and you can see they're looking for somebody to walk through that portal, but no one on the Grabowskis are going to make that mistake.
Yep, I think they recognize that. See how dangerous that situation is. Shadow Q, he in the mid, he is using his ultimate once again. The Earthshaker over the top from Chapo doesn't find the damage he's looking for. Does get the meatball onto Shadow Q though, forces the dragon to jump away. Chasing them back underneath tower. They're grouped up as 4. Incon with the wall clap will stun out Diesel for just a minute, but nobody's really wanting to engage.
Henry taking putting out a lot of damage onto El Chapo. Mexcidy got the stun under the tornado, but the Aegis from Chapo is enough to keep him alive from the brunt of. And come late game, that tornado is going to start doing a lot more damage. You know, the 1 tick if you stay inside, plus 5 more as soon as you walk out. Once he starts getting those big items like his potential Rod of Tahuti that he started up, that's really going to start swinging come late game.
Yeah, and he did go into the Obsidian Shard. I was thinking, oh, hold that thought. Mexciety once again, or Man Ray, pardon me, in trouble here. He does use his Aegis and will get away. But yeah, what did the Obsidian Shard? I could have sworn he was going into Spear of the Magus.
Spear of the Magus typically more of the penetration you go in for gods who can get easy confirmed dots like Man Ray with the Tornado. It's going to stack it up very quickly. It takes 5 now, but you get a lot of penetration from the item. I believe you get your base mount plus 50 once those are all fully stacked up. And considering how little magic defense has really been built by either of these teams, I'm surprised he didn't go for that option.
Yeah, just like you said, the dot damage really easy on gods like, you know, Kukulkan is one of those. Who else? Poseidon is really good. Sometimes you see it on a Nox if she can hit that root really well as well.
Even gods like Zhang Kui, who have the card to throw out, get some dot damage on there as well. Plus the slow, sometimes you might see an extra gem of isolation picked up with it just to be even more obnoxious. But again, they're getting aggressive on the Incon. He's already under half.
Yeah, and Mexciety really picking on Incon. I'm not quite sure that's the target that he really wants to be focusing on, but it seems like the target that he is hitting in the beginning of these engagements.
I think more than anything, they want to just get Incon out of the way so they can start aggressing elsewhere on the left-hand side. You know, Shronic's going to take the first tower of the left-hand lane, where right-hand tower, right side, tier 1, that one's already down. So tower for tower so far, gold still fairly even, 1,500 in favor of Xeno and the bots, but that's just off the Gold Fury that they took earlier.
Yeah, 26 minutes in, this is really anybody's game right now. Both of these teams playing so carefully today. Only 2 kills for both Grabowskis and Xeno in the bots. And we've seen lots of ultimates expended, like we said earlier, but not much to show for it, really.
26 minutes in, still looking at the items. Supports pretty much started fairly similar, at least got their boots and went for the Jade Emperor's crown, but Shadowq opted for more aura base with Sovereignty, where over on the opposite side, Incon getting that Shogun's Kasari, giving that extra attack speed over to his Jingwei, and over to Uzi and Plasma as well. 3 very heavy auto attackers going to get that buff through. Now the Gold Fury started up one more time.
Yep, Chapo Xeno tries to Plasma are here. Incon is zoning him out, but it is dropping. The only person here is ShadowQ. But, oh, there goes Mexciety. Kaboom, man, over the top. El Chapo finally found his mark. Spirit of the 9 Winds is used. Will hit Xenotronics, but the Great Shell, great protection for Xenotronics will negate a lot of that damage. Gold Fury started up once again. Kukulkan using the Tornado will dissuade them. Incon, he is going to be forced out here as well. ShadowQ, they're using the jumping in aggressively on the Xenotronics, forcing him out. Lots of back and forth. Call is to disengage. Uzi doesn't look like he wants to give it up, though.
Well, especially for ShadowQ, because he laying out of Draconic form, 3-man Lord of the Afterlife onto it, and Uzi gets blown up, but Xeno and the bots, they're going to get the Gold Fury.
Oh, man. Uzi trades his life for the Gold Fury, and Mexciety goes down there. That's a pretty solid win for Xeno and the bots.
Well, Xeno and Plasma going to be able to get back to their safety, so only losing out Uzi, picking up Gold Fury, losing only 1 at this stage for it is 100% worth it. It's the same reason as, you know, you lose your support for the Gold Fury, not too big of a deal. But once again, now that Gold Fury's down, Grabowski's turning their sights towards the Portal Demon.
And oh, over the top once again. Chapo just using that ultimate left and right. Portal Demon is here, and they haven't quite dropped it, even though Chapo, Zeno, and Incon are here. Once again, it looks like the fight is going through. Grabowski's will claim that one. Taking a look at the graphs, man, experience difference only 300. The gold difference only 2,600. Very, very tight competition.
Yeah, and it's all just from Gold Furies alone. The only two objectives Xeno's picked up is what's keeping their gold lead, and Grabowski's negating it with their own, and now they're starting up Fire Giant.
Incon once again using his ultimate, and Grabowski's will claim it. That Spirit of the Nine wins, such a great tool for getting those, and Diesel turns it around on Incon, burns him down. The Suns rain on top of Uzi as well. He's in a lot of trouble, forced to use his ultimate just to get away, and slowing Xenon Hawk to try to get him, trying to dissuade the chase, but the Red Anxiety, oh, taking Xeno up in the sky, lands down, feels bad.
Plasma's trying to get into Man Ray, but he can't. The CC from his team is too strong, and Diesel gonna pick up Plasma. Uzi pinned out. Diesel pumping out the autos into him. The Thorn's not enough to save him for the time being. Sashed out, taken down. Anxiety gets Uzi.
And this tier 2 tower in the solo will fall as well. Grabowski's pushing up this right lane. They're looking at the Phoenix already.
Out of nowhere, this game just exploded. One Fire Giant, and all of a sudden the Grabowskis decide it's our time to fight. It's our time to shine. They take down 4 members of Xeno and the bots. They get the tier 2, they get the Phoenix, and now they're looking to push up mid lane.
Yeah, we do see the pings coming out for mid lane here, and they are going to take it, man. Xeno and the bots, not really sure what the heck happened there, but Grabowski's just decided, hey, you know, it's about 30 minutes. I think it's about time to win this one.
It just looked like Xeno and the bots were split up during that fight, where half the team wanted to defend Fire Giant, the other half of the team wanted to stay back and wait for the ensuing retreat from it. And because of it, because they got split up, everybody tried funneling in one at a time. Incon got picked, so Uzi tried to move in. He got picked. Everybody just tried coming in one at a time, and they just got picked off very methodically by it. Now Grabowski's, where they were down 3,000, now they're up 3,600.
And they are just stripping this jungle hard. I mean, they got the tier 1 tower, or the tier 2 tower, pardon me, in the solo. 1 and 2 there in the mid. Got another red buff stolen away from Xeno and the bots. They get the oracles. They get their own buffs. They turned it up pretty hard just within the last 2 minutes of this match.
I mean, let's be real. The red buff is the real objective of this game. Like I said, I have never seen a team focus a red buff so hard in any game ever. And I don't know if it's just because they just don't want El Chapo to have the red buff, or if the Grabowskis really think that this is the next generation speed buff. This red is more important than anything else.
And I don't know if it was that or not, but it just seemed like, you know, they invaded it a couple of times pretty cleanly, pretty uncontested anyway. And then once Xeno and the bots kept going over there and seeing that the red buff was gone, then they started sending, you know, Incon and Xeno over there. And then it just kind of blew up into this whole big thing. Tier 1 tower in the dual lane will fall, and tier 2 not long for this world either.
Well, now they're looking to push up towards the Phoenix. This is going to be the next big fight for them. 5v5, Xenon Hawk and Shadow Cube in the front line for the team. Man Ray and Anxiety are most likely going to be the targets of these fights because of how much damage Man Ray is able to output now with the red buff and Fire Giant buff.
Yeah, Incon, he's doing his best to push everybody out, but that tornado puts out a lot of damage, especially at this stage in the game. Rada Tahuti is online, and it does look like Man Ray is going into that Spear of the Magus just a little bit later than we kind of anticipated, as the rest of Grabowski's dancing around this left Phoenix.
They were only in the Phoenix for about 2 seconds. They already burned it down. Well, the ultimate comes out from Incon, and that's the start of the fight.
Oh, once again, Shadow Q up in the air. Oh, off the mark. Chop up with his Dragon is used, but Dragon is used to help kind of disengage from the rest of his team. Usually, when the Fafnirs go up in there, they're looking for the coerce to burn the objectives down quicker, and this time he uses it just to kind of zone to get everybody out of that poison.
And now that's going to start open the Gold Fury for Grabowski. He's not going to let any way of Xeno and the bots to be able to farm back up into the game. And that's going to extend up the gold lead to 8,000 for the Grabowskis, where this entire game, 2-2, 26 minutes in, nothing's happening. A lot of fighting, no blood being shed, one Fire Giant, and the game is turned on its head.
Yeah, they do claim that Gold Fury and the Portal Demon next on the menu. Xeno and the bots, man, they are on the back foot right now. Just Grabowski's turning it up pretty hard. Portal Demon is started, and only Uzi is here to defend right now. But El Chapo, he is lurking around the corner. I bet he has an ultimate in his hand. Portal Demon has been dropped. Uzi uses the thorns. The fight continues, but it looks like the target has changed on him. Anxiety, he does receive the Divine Judgment, uses his Aegis. El Chapo off the mark with that ultimate once again, but the fight's still continuing.
Xenon Hawk gonna take quite a bit, but he's gonna pop the Thorns and the Taunt to get a little bit of healing back for himself. But again, a lot of ults thrown out so far, not a lot of blood. Everybody's still waiting for someone to make the wrong mistake. Somebody's waiting for someone to step in, put their foot where they doesn't need to be, and it was almost Uzi there for a sec, but now Portal Demon gonna be leashed away from the wall just to make sure that they can't burn that one down, and now Shadow Q looking to get aggressive.
Oh, there we go. Spirit of the Nine Winds goes through. El Chapo past out of there. And the Suns rain down on top, just more to slow than anything. Incon Plasma forced out the right side. Man Ray will finally find Chapo. His Aegis was down. Had no real way to get out of that one. Also, there goes Uzi, the double kill going to Man Ray. Incon forced out of that fight. Xeno has to use his ultimate to get out of the way. This is going to be a Portal Demon for the Grabowskis.
Whether intentional or not, that sash from Mexide was perfect to immune out the damage from Xenotronics, making sure that he's not going to get hit by that airstrike, which might not have been enough to kill him, but would have done a significant amount of damage. And now, because of that fight, Grabowski's able to take another Fire Giant.
Yep, they are going to go back to base, use this portal to their advantage, while the rest of Xeno and the bots are forced to stay in base. They had minions pouring in. Titan under attack on the left-hand side. This is looking pretty grim for Xeno and his boys.
Man Ray up here kind of alone. Rest of his team right behind him. Going to try and push up this right side again, as it is a weakened Phoenix. Not going to heal all the way back up. They're going to be able to do quite a bit to it. And over on that left-hand side, they only stepped to the Phoenix for maybe about 3 seconds total and were able to burn it down. That's just how much power that these gods have at this stage of the game.
And the fight is on. The Phoenix is getting very, very low. And El Chapo, I'm going to call those zoning ult from now on. Chapo is just doing his best to zone those out, but they do put up a great defense. He does force out Xeno and the bots. They don't quite get into that Phoenix yet, but they're coming back. Xenon Hawk with a reinitiation right on top of Uzi. Incon with the slow. No damage onto the Phoenix just yet, but the minion wave meets him. Xenon Hawk, he says, I'll take it. If nobody else is going in, I'll take that one.
And now the Grabowskis, they're just going to go ahead, back off, take a different pathing towards this mid lane. Don't want to take the very aggressive route through. And Diesel just going to use his lifesteal to heal up off the back camps. Mexide taking a little bit of poke through, but it's a very slow-paced push for the Grabowskis, and that's what they want. They want to be able to slow bleed out Xeno and the bots, but Shadow Q might look to start this fight a little heavier.
And Shadow Q, he does get the coerce onto 4, and he is tanking up that Phoenix, but everybody just kind of forced out. They don't really want to push this one too hard. Xenotronics and Uzi around the left-hand side. No, they're disengaging, swinging back over to this left Phoenix, which just respawned.
And now they're going to go ahead, push up the minions for it, try and get those backdoor protection shredded out for what little they'll need onto the Phoenix. All 5 members still with that Fire Giant buff. Looking to push into it. Fire Wave coming up through. Only one who's going to be really able to clear it is El Chapo, who's waiting in the wings. He wants to get that big ult. He needs it this fight.
Yeah, he really, really does. And I've been giving him crap about missing those, but sometimes he has been working really well. He will find some damage onto Shadow Q, but the return, Man Ray just deletes him. Gets some damage onto Uzi. He is next to go down. Diesel will claim that one, and Xenon Hawk just sitting there, giving them hell, zoning the rest of the team out. This mid Phoenix is next, or are they just going to end it right here?
Looks like they're going to choose to go for the end. Incon's going to pop his ultimate, slow down 4 members of the team, and they don't care about that because their eyes have been set towards Plasma, who has to go all the way back to Fountain. Feeds are now down for him, and it looks like the Titan might be their next target.
Plasma blinks in on top of Diesel. He might claim it. No, the turnaround is good, but Xenotronics will Diesel right there. Titan is under attack. Only Incon here to defend. Xeno and the bots. This is looking like the first loss of the day, especially as Xeno goes down to Mexide, and that is game.
12 minutes ago into this game, Nobody cared about anything. They just wanted a Gold Fury, they go for a Portal Demon, and that's it. Scoreline read 2-2. In 12 minutes, 2 Fire Giants are taken. Grabowski's go from behind 3,000 to up 11,000 gold and pick up 11 kills of their own, only answered by 2 from Xeno in the bots. This was a very slow and methodically paced game for the Grabowskis, which is what was able to lead them to victory.
Yeah, I mean, as we looked at the graphs there, I mean, it was literally, 300 experience, just kind of experience wave to wave there for a little bit. And the goal lead at any given point was only about 1,200 either way. And then all of a sudden, man, boom, Grabowski said, no, this is our game.
Yeah, it was just the one Fire Giant that they took where they figured, well, now we have an opportunity to take this game. They pick up 4 members after the single Fire Giant, and that's enough to get them that elevated lead that they needed to really push down through. Man Ray putting out big damage in that game, 27,000 for him. And that came down to a lot of big Spirit of 9 wins. Diesel matching that with 27,000 of his own.
Yeah, and Kukulkan really had a great Spirit of the 9 wins. That ability isn't the easiest to hit without some setup, but Man Ray is showing us how it's done today.
I mean, Man Ray, normally you see him on the big snipe gods. One's like Thoth, one's like Raw. You've even seen some fun Anubis out of him, but this Kukulkan really kind of came out of left field and ended up being the turning factor for the Grabowskis to help them win this game.
Yeah, it really was just a great play all the way around. We are going to take a quick break, be back with the second match, Grabowski's and Xeno and the bots. Join us. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the SMITE Challenger. A big day today. I'm your host, Rog the Dwarf. With me is J Mac Tucker as we get into the second match of. As we get into the second.
Yeah, Grabowski's going to be took game one over Xeno and the bots, and well, this time around, Xeno gonna look to see if they can flip sides, flip results, as my good man Emu would say. The first ban off the table, it's gonna be a Ganesh, the good old elephant.
That's kind of a weird ban to start out with, especially when you have RDO, Kukulkan, Kamazan still on the table. The Ganesh first ban strikes me as a little odd.
Well, they just don't want to deal with the elephant. I mean, in a lot of matchups that I've been watching, Ganesh has been a big turning factor for a team. It's really been one of the big winning causes for him. And, well, once again, Grabowski's, they're going to take the Scylla off the table, as well as the RTO, not going to give up the bear onto that one. And Xeno and the bots, they take away Diesel's Ho Yi.
Which I don't blame them. I mean, he really didn't do he wasn't really crazy on it, but he was very consistent that entire last game. Xeno and the bots picking up the Kukulkan, Jing Wei for the Grabowskis, and Erlong Shen looking pretty similar to the last set.
I mean, they're just going to go ahead and give Xenon Hawk his same god, and instead of the Ho Yi, now it's going to be the Jing Wei over for the Grabowskis instead of for Xenotronics, who's going to have to look for something a little different this game. Soul going to be locked in, likely going over into the mid lane onto El Chapo.
And look at that. And Athena. Incon gets his Athena this match. That's not too bad. But Gab will be locked in for the Grabowskis. And they already know that they want to ban out that Nemesis.
Yeah, they might be looking for a little bit tankier of a lineup because of that. Typically, when you ban the Nemesis, you want to go for either the Double Warrior Guardian, or you want to just go for something a little bit more powerful, or somebody who doesn't have the best of escape, someone to deal with that Nemesis. But as well, Hoon Bot's taken away, not going to give up the monkey.
Just great initiation, but they're running back with the Nanja here. And he did really pretty good. I mean, he kind of missed a few things earlier on, but the Nanja really came in pretty handy toward the later stages of the game. And Odin, man, that big Odin cage going to be coming out for Xeno and the bots, looking to trap people in there. But I don't know, man. I don't see a whole lot of synergy with that big cage.
Not only that, I don't see a lot of big synergy with this team. You have the Athena taunt into like a Stellar Burst or a Supernova, and maybe even an Axe Toss from the Uller. But outside of that, Xeno and the bots, they just look like they drafted a bunch of big names outside of the Uller, and we're going to have to see if they're going to be able to make this one work out for themselves, as Raijin, the final lock-in for Xeno and the bots, for Grabowski's going into the second game.
Yeah, we'll get into the start of this one here, and it will be Xeno. He is going to be playing the Soul ADC with Chapo is going to be our mid-Uller.
That only person that I've seen really make any success off the Uller mid as of recent's been Sheikah, but we'll see if El Chapo's got a little bit of a trick under his sleeve, see if he can pull the rabbit out of the magician's hat with this one. As Soul into the Hunter role, we haven't seen that in quite some time.
No, usually we do see her in the mid. I mean, she does have that great passive that can help her out in that duo lane. But, you know, with the recent changes, she did lose the Fatalis effect on her Disapparate. But she's been showing up in the mid as a really big, really nice, kind of bursty style mage.
Wow. The side of Grabowski is really respecting just this Odin pick alone on the Uzi. Double Phantom for the Grabowskis, where in response for Xeno and the bots, with how much burst damage the side of the Grabowskis have, they pick up a double shell.
Yeah, they do. And a little bit of boxing back and forth. Plasma is already getting a little low. Uzi takes a shot from the ring toss up and over. And they're just kind of switching positions here on this right side.
Well, Plasma putting out a little bit of all attacks into the minions as well as Uzi, but now that the minions are gone, where the fight may ensue for, and instead they're actually just going to let Mixide and Xenon Hawk walk away, as on the top side, Chapo and Xenotronics able to steal away the speed buff.
Yeah, they do, and now they're swinging around here, collapsing on Xeno Hawk and Mexciety. There are four. Xenon Hawk, he's going to make it out the back, but Mexciety might not. He gets stopped. Oh, Xeno. He gets the first kill. That's a long rotation for him to make, but it pays off.
And once again, him starting up into the mid lane with El Chapo, just able to get that quick early clear for themselves. And now Xenotronics going to be able to go back over towards the red buff, maybe towards his lane is Shadowq and Diesel. Once again, a lot of prioritization on this red buff.
Yeah, we do have Xeno here, and I do believe she will claim it. She does stop the invade. El Chapo jumps in. Shadowq, he gets stunned out there. Great axes from the Uller, and Chapo will clean up Shadowq right there as Diesel runs for his life around the backside. The chase is on, but the wind gust is good. Makes it underneath tower. Will he be safe? He sure will.
I like the attempt with the Phantom Veil just to give you that movement to try and pass through anything that might mess with you, but you're not going to be able to pass through enemy gods with that Phantom Veil. I think that's what they thought was going to go through there, or maybe Shadowq still thought he had the sprint from last game, so second kill going over to Xeno and the bots yet again. Caught Shadowq off of the rollout, and well, when Geb can't run away, that's the death of the Geb.
Yeah, Geb, especially that rollout, his rollout ability just takes so long to charge up. Once it gets charged up and you get the CC immunity on that, man, it's amazing. But if you can't, you can get stunned out, you can get stopped, you can get slowed, and then he's pretty much a sitting duck, or, well, a sitting rock anyway.
Yeah, big old rock not going to be able to run away from that one. Xenon Hawk left alone to farm over into this right-hand side. Uzi, now level 5, he's going to have access to that cage, and that's where we're really going to see Xenon Hawk have to use his Phantom, is when Uzi decides to get a little bit more aggressive onto them. But they're looking for these elemental gremlins over by the Fire Giant Pit. 3 men going to split that one up. And now with that first blood and the second kill after, they've already built up a lead that we saw last game, about 1,600 experience, 1,300 gold for Xeno and the bots.
Getting off to a much earlier start in this one as Shadowq and Diesel just kind of hanging around. Incon goes in, gets the taunt onto Shadowq, and out comes the Supernova. Shadowq in an awful lot of trouble. Xeno with the in-hand will send the rock back to base to be a rock and not to roll.
All right, that was good. All right, I'll give you that one. That was good. That was good. The taunt from Incon, though, was even better, making sure to catch the entirety of Xenotronic Supernova onto Shadowq, followed up by the in-hand afterwards. All that Xeno needed to finish off the rock into that one. So 3 quick kills, a lot more blood this game at only 3 minutes. Xeno and the bots leading up.
It does appear that Xeno and the bots came out angry at this one. They are invading on the speed buff here to the right side. We'll be taking that away from Anxiety. And they do get it, man. They will claim it and head over back to the solo lane. It looks like Chapo might be a little deep, but he is heading back to safety. Incon going to help him out.
That is one of the benefits of the Uller and mid is most mages, they don't have that great of an escape. They might have some minor bit of mobility, some kind of small dash to be able to get out, but Uller does have the jump, can go over any walls if the trouble gets too bad for him. So while it's a little bit of an odd pick, it's really not too bad in the mid.
No, and just a lot of the variety of the moves that he can use. I mean, of course, you know, he's got the bow, he's got the long range stuff, and he also has the ability to lifesteal with the axes as well. So he will be a little safer there than a lot of the other hunters that we do see running the mid lane.
Well, mid camps are going to be started up. Shadowq going to steal one of those away with the shockwave, split him out 1-1 with Xeno and the bots, and Diesel now pushing Xenotronics under tower, but Xeno's up a level onto Diesel. Finally, Xeno being able to stay inside of his own lane this time around. Last time, he was able to net him 1 kill. See if maybe he can get another one onto this Jing Wei.
They have been going back and forth, and I can definitely understand that because Diesel got the better of Xeno in that last game. Make no mistake. And like I said, it just looks like Xeno and the bots are coming out with a little fire in their belly that they didn't have in the first game.
I mean, it's just the game 1 jitters. It's a big day. A lot is on the line. You really don't want to make any mistakes coming forward. You really want to come out being a little bit safer than you normally would. You want to feel out your opponent. Last game, the bots, they kind of understood what Grabowski's could do, and now this game they're gonna take the front seat. They're gonna grab the steering wheel and they're gonna drive it.
Yeah, they felt him out and didn't like what they were feeling. The Oracles will go the way of Xeno and the bots, so a great control of these objectives. They've been getting the Gremlins, they've been getting the Oracles, making sure their camps are clear, and they are up 2,000 gold already at 6 minutes.
That's a much more efficient farming game coming out from Xeno and the bots this time. Last game, Grabowski's, despite the tie game, they always had some kind of a small lead outside of the objectives, but in mid lane, they're looking to get real aggressive on the Anxiety.
Incon with a great taunt will pull in too, but Shadow Q is right there with the Heavy Shield. Will stop any more aggression as they are pushed underneath tower. And Man Ray on this Raijin, kind of excited to see how this is going to turn out late game. If he can do it as well as the Kukulkan from the last game.
Wow. Very quick Geb Shield coming out from Shadow Q when McSighty got hit by that axe stun from El Chapo. But now the rotation over from Incon to the right. Xenon Hawk gets taken down.
Oh, combining with Uzi in that lane while Kukulkan is heading over to the speed buff, and he's zoning out 3 pretty much by himself as the speed buff is just now responding. The rest of Xeno and the bots, hey man, they're taking this one for themselves.
This is how you know they're playing a little bit scared, is when one person alone is able to hold 3 members off their speed buff. McSighty just off the mark on that sash against El Chapo. He's going to throw out the ring bounce, get a little bit of damage forward, but it's not really going to deter Chapo too much.
That ring bounce is so dang annoying. Just sitting there bouncing back and forth, slowing you with every hit. Oh, I hate the Nunja ring bounce.
Oh, especially when it's just you and, like, let's say your support, so they're not taking any damage, but you're taking, you know, 700-800 from each bounce that's hitting, and you're just like, come on, just walk away from me. Stop letting it hit me.
Hey, he's trying to be there to help, but no, you're just sitting there getting more targets bouncing back and forth around. And look at Xenotronics. He has Shadow Q and Diesel pushed up underneath their own tower. Diesel once again uses the shield, but for nothing, Plasma. Over on the right side, Xenon Hawk taking it. Man Ray made the rotation over as well. He and Uzi in this lane. Back underneath tower. Xeno and the bots, man. They are all over the place in this one.
Xenon Hawk just got caught out in the cage, and while he was somewhat under his own tower, Uzi really couldn't aggress too much more forward. He's making sure that Xenon Hawk had nowhere to go and allowed the rotation for Plasma to come through, get the kill with that war cry, and put Xeno and the bots up 5-0 and nearly 3,500 gold in their favor. Last time, it took about 26-27 minutes to hit this point. Now, coming a little bit sooner this game.
Yeah, the Oracles are responding, and they're making the rotation over. Xenotronics is here. Chapo and Incon as well will claim vision in that pit, but they got to be careful. Grabowskis do have a ward sitting right there.
Well, they're going to throw another ward right in the mid-camp, so they're getting vision all around that wall. Nobody's going to be sneaking around that side of the mid-camp Gold Fury wall. Xenotronics now sitting a level up onto Diesel yet again, able to keep advantage in his lane this game. Despite kind of these awkward starts that he's been having, this game, it ended up working out for them when they got that first blood.
Yeah, it really did. And good news here for Xeno and the bots. They have been able to claim their own buffs this time around. Hey, that's a definite improvement over the last game.
Yeah, red buff has not been nearly as contested this time around. Nobody's really wanting to fight for that one. Nobody really can against Xeno and the bots. They have a lot of objectives secure and a lot of objective damage. With that Soul, Supernova is just such a powerful ability to drop down in the middle of a team fight. Has that knock up and just that consistent damage that pops through.
Yeah, and we're kind of wondering about the synergy that they have with this Xeno and the bots team. But really, the synergy between these characters, each one of these gods have special things that they bring to this match. And as long as Xeno and the bots are just executing like this, man, they're going to get the damage off no matter what.
Incon looking to get aggressive on the 3 members. He's going to taunt in Shadow Q so they can deal the damage to McSighty. McSighty's the one getting turned on now. Plasma going to throw out the Spear of Immortal Pain, and McSighty, he's going to have to back out, but Plasma's not going to let him.
Oh, beautiful. Diving underneath tower, and he will claim that one. Cage does come out, but Xenon Hawk, he will use the Phantom to get out of the way. Man Ray up in the Taiko drums, just not finding the damage that he really wants. And the rest of Xeno and the bots pretty much proxying these guys between the tier 2, and the fight is still continuing. Plasma jumps in, and Man Ray forced to teleport out. Just a sliver of health. Shadow Q with a Cataclysm will pill for the team, and that's the signal to disengage.
I have no clue how Man Ray was able to get out of that with as low of HP as he did. Got the quick teleport off to make sure he didn't fall into that one, and all the while, the Hunters just farming it up into their lane, which opens up the portal even for Xeno and the bots. 500 more gold for them, and the portal, most importantly, back to that Fire Giant, which we saw last game. Once that first portal really got taken on, that was when we started seeing the big fights come through.
Yep, and Xeno, he is in a little bit of trouble here, but the rotation comes in from the rest of his team. Diesel is getting some great poke, and Disapparate saves him just right there, and Incon will eat the Raiju, but if you're going to have somebody take that much damage from ability, might as well be your Guardian.
And one thing about Xeno and the bots is once Incon's ultimate is up, they're never truly alone. They never have to worry about being quite caught out because Incon can use that Defender of Olympus, get right back into the fray, and help out his team. And we're going to be seeing a lot of that as the game draws a little bit later in, once that ability has a little bit shorter of a cooldown.
Yeah, he will be just all over the map, and as soon as he goes in Defender of Olympus, he'll get the great taunt initiation there, and that's going to set up a lot of these team fights. Up in the sky, however, is Plasma, and as soon as he hits the ground, Diesel is there to clean it up.
Well, quick one pick for Grabowski's put themselves on the board now, and they're starting up the Oracle Harpies. Thought they were going to go for Gold Fury there, but opting not to, as Xenotronics is still waiting in the wings, does still have that Supernova. Now he's looking to put in the boxing match to Diesel, but so far both of them just kind of trading out evenly.
They sure are, and Soul is just so dang safe with that Disapparate. Of course, she is going to be able to negate all of that damage. You know, she's immune whenever she's in that little ball of fire form. So Diesel is going to have to be careful. Incon coming in. The taunt will find it. Supernova is dropped. Ultimate in response. Diesel forced back underneath his tower. And I got to say, Incon doing a much better job this time around.
I mean, Incon got what we like to joke about as his signature god, picking up that Athena. He is always the forefront, the aggressor with that god. Now in the mid lane, Chapo's going to have to back up himself. So excited he got a little too aggressive onto him. But this is when I think Athena. So whenever I think of Athena's, I think of Incon. This is kind of his namesake god right now.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and he just does pretty well. I mean, he doesn't do so well sometimes, but really showing up today. As the fight goes on, he does eat a little bit of damage from the Raichu and Shadow Cube. In the big rollout, doesn't find him, but the Cataclysm will. Diesel gets the Geb Shield, and the fight is back on. Aegis is used for Diesel. Man Ray up and over the wall. The Taiko drums come out. That's going to force Incon out from underneath tower, but Xeno is there to clean it up, and Plasma taking him underneath tower, making sure he eats all of the shots for his ADC.
Diesel thought that he was safe under there. McSidy thought he was safe at his red buff, but once again, the fight comes to him. Xenotronics snags at McSidy, and poor Diesel, he thought he was good. He tried to do a back under the tower, but the Stellar Burst, big AoE, gonna be able to clean him up from that one, and now Gold Fury for Xeno and the bots. That's gonna be the first one of the game.
Xeno and the bots, man, just really turning it up. And even if the rest of Grabowski showed up, they really don't have a whole lot to claim it with all the ultimates down, and Xenon Hawk takes out Uzi on the right side.
Uzi just a little too aggressive onto the Odin. Kind of the downside of him is once you use that Bird Bomb, well, you got nowhere to go outside of that. And Xenon Hawk, a much better boxing god than with Yurlong Shin than an Odin will be. So able to capitalize on the mistake of Uzi, picking up his second kill for the team. But so far, Xeno and the bots in full swing, the 7,500 gold in their favor.
They have turned it up. 7,500 gold, only at 14 minutes in, man. And they are really looking to push this one. And once again, we see Incon going back to that Shogun's Kasari. Also has a couple of stacks on the hide of the Urchin. He is going to get tougher and tougher to kill.
I mean, it's just such a good item when you have this double ADC where Chapo might not be focusing as much attack speed with the Ulers. You can see the Transcendence is his second item instead of the usual Devourer's Gauntlets that we see for Hunters. And with Xenotronics on the Soul, gonna get natural attack speed, but a little bit more never hurts a good Soul. Able to help shred down those objectives just a little faster.
Yeah, she can just shred through objectives. Like you said, man, that Shogun's Kasari just going to help her out. I also really appreciate the Warlock Sash over there, just giving her that little bit of extra health, a little bit of extra power there to kind of be able to box against the Jingwei.
Yeah, I noticed it earlier. I was going to make mention of it, but kind of got interrupted by some good fighting. Warlock Sash is an item we don't see very often. It's kind of fallen out compared to what we normally see in the Book of Thoughts, even the Dune Orbs coming out of mids, and Incon getting aggressive on the Shadow Cube.
He sure is. Man Ray throwing some shots over the wall. The big cage comes out, but Phantom immediately in response. And, you know, we've been talking a lot about Incon, but Shadow Cube has been playing very well on this Geb. I mean, his Geb shields have been on, his relic usage has been on. Incon taunting in Man Ray, forces him to teleport out. Ozzy chasing Xenon Hawk around the back, but I don't think this is going to amount to a whole lot, except, a dance around the portal demon, doing a great job of zoning him out.
Ozzy's going to get hit out by the Cataclysm. He's going to get knocked up, and he's not going to fall just yet. Mexiety falls to Xenotronic Supernova. Shadow Q in the back dies out to Plasma. All the while, Diesel's just split pushing while his team was fighting out and losing the portal demon.
Yeah, Diesel will claim that tier 1 tower, but they lose. The rest of Grabowski's lose too, and this Fire Giant has been started up already. Xenon Hawk is here to defend a little bit, but Fire Giant already around a half. He does get a pin onto El Chapo. There's the taunt in, and kaboom, exploded. Xenon Hawk goes down to El Chapo. Plasma chasing Ray out the back, while the Fire Giant, hey, they want this one, but I think they're going to have to give it up as the rest of the team just gets a little too low.
Did you see how many lava pools just spawned on top of Xenonhawk? Everybody from Xeno and the bots turned immediately onto him, and that was 4, if not 5 lava pools all hitting him at one time. Man Ray gets taunted out. No beat. Big damage from Stellar Burst, but he'll just barely be able to get out.
That teleport has been saving his lives, and he's been using it to perfection today. Shadow Q swinging around, just misses Xenotronics, trying to force him underneath tower. Incon with a big taunt onto the rock, but around the back, Plasma takes Mexiety down once again. Chapo cleaning up Shadow Q. Soul cleans up that tier 1 tower, and the siege is on.
Alright, now I gotta see the Uller mid matchup between Chapo and Shakeup, and Incon gonna taunt in Xenohawk, who's gonna taunt in one of his own, or at least try to for that one, but Plasma's more than happy being able to take that ultimate, still face tank the damage, and face tank the tower for Xeno and the bots to possibly open up for the Fire Giant.
Oh, that was kind of funny. Xenotronic sitting there pumping out damage, and then it's like, oh, wait. One more hit. Sorry, last hit. My bad. Let's go ahead and knock that one down as the rest of the team heads back to base, and Plasma stealing the blue buff once again.
I mean, he doesn't need it, but it's always nice to have a little bit of extra cooldown reduction onto that one. Outside of just the MP5, that 10% CDR is kind of overlooked sometimes on the blue buff, and, well, it never hurts to give your Kakulin a little bit more CDR, get some more of those spears off, get more of those big ultimates as well.
Yeah, and of course, you can always use the gold and experience.
Never say no to some free gold, some free XP.
I mean, if it's there, you might as well take it, right? Incon and Xenotronics cleaning up that void buff. We'll give that over to Incon. Oracles are here, and the Gold Fury is just about to land. This is going to be our next fight in this Gold Fury pit. Xenotronics and Chapo already here between the two of them. They should be able to tear through this Gold Fury.
See, Incon's just sitting up at the front. They're not even able to make an attempt to get into this Gold Fury. Quick and easy, cleanly done by Xeno and the bots. Extends their gold lead to 12,500. Diesel caught out by the axe and the taunt. No beads, no life.
Chapo goes down in the left side, but Ozzy was about to get collapsed on here in the mid. Luckily, Plasma shows up, and Ozzy gets the jump out. That tier 1 tower on the left side, it gets raised in seconds. Between the Chapo and Xeno, the double ADCs, man, these objectives just... Grabowski's have to be right there immediately to even contest a lot of these.
And all the while, look at Plasma. He's trying to zone them away at a speed buff so they can keep pushing on this left-hand side. Ring bounce from Excited. You're going to do a little bit of damage, but it's only a level 13 Nausea. Those rings aren't hitting too hard, and Shadow Q might not be living too much longer.
Oh, man, Shadow Q in a lot of trouble, and Chapo, once again, he is on a rampage, cleaning up Shadow Q there as the rest of the team swings through. Xenotronics, man, they are just tearing through Grabowski's right now. Where was this team in the first game?
They were playing so passively. They didn't really have any way of getting in. Every time a fight went through, an ult was hit here, an ult was missed there, and, well, both teams just decided, well, that's the end of that one. I think giving Chapo a more confirmable damage god has really been the name for it. As last game, we talked a lot about El Chapo's zoning ultimates onto the Vulcan. This time around, you don't have to worry about missing an ult. He's an Uller. He just has 6 abilities to hit them with instead.
Yeah, you can't miss an ult if you don't have an ult. So it works out for El Chapo really nicely. And just been getting some great damage, and he's been getting some great stuns with the axes as well, helping to set up his team and helping to, if he doesn't get the kill, he's been helping to confirm the kills and stop them. Odin Cage does come down. Shadow Q uses the Phantom, but he's taking a lot of pokes still as he tries to get away.
Had to solo use the Phantom. It would have been his death if he did not, but that's going to be down for another 136 seconds. Xenon Hawk does still have his, but if they can get Xenon Hawk alone, if they can force out his, they can drop down for another Odin Cage. That does have quite a short cooldown on the Odin. And now with Fire Giant opened up, no one on the Grabowski can find a route to it.
No, they sure can. And once again, Chapo and Xenotronic just shredding this thing really, really quick. And then they're going to turn around, hit the Portal Demon, and go back to base, spend up some of their gold, and man, or no, I guess not. They don't want to go back to base. They want to keep pushing. Nah. This solo lane, it's going to be pretty rough here.
Yeah, it needs to go back to base, and you can just keep pushing down towers. Tier 1's going to fall. Xenotronics getting ready to set up for the Tier 2. And after adding the Fire Giant gold, the 500 from Portal, and add another 2,000 between the two towers, that might be just enough for them to decide to go back to base, but instead, they're going to continue to push forward.
Yeah, gee, man, we have a 20,000, 19,000 experience difference, 18,000 gold difference already. And this looks like it might be, I don't know if it's going to be the final push, but it's going to be pretty damn close. Naja up in the sky, and he lands down. El Chapo just doesn't quite find the damage. Neither are the Taiko drums coming through as well, but they do a good job of zoning Xeno and the bots out for the moment, at least.
Big shell from Incon is what saved both of their lives there from the drums and from the damage dropping down from the Naja ultimate. Now, that looks like it's enough for Xeno and the bots to go ahead, back up, regen. They have the Fire Giant buff. They still have the damage to be able to push forward. And now Incon going through, catches out Shadow.
And the cage comes down. Big blink in by Plasma as well. Shadow, they do get the Phantom over the top. Uzi looks like he wants it, but the concentration is on the Firebird, and it will fall as they swing over to mid. Incon maybe a little too aggressive, eating a whole lot of damage, and Diesel will turn that one around. I think that's going to be the call to retreat without their main source of initiation, and it sure will as Uzi gets chased out by Erlong Shen, and here comes a Shadow Q, but the Red Team Titan under attack. Grabowski's might have to go back and defend this one before too much damage gets onto their final objective there.
But McSidy, after bringing up one, he gets dropped down himself. Chapo picks up that kill. Xenotronic trying to box out, but Xeno Hawk is getting the better end of it. Not before a beautiful blade of arrows, followed by the Stellar Burst. Kill for Chapo. Shadows down. Deicide for the bots.
Oh, man, and this should be game right here between Chapo and Xenotronics. Of course, we have Uzi and Plasma here. They're already taking up that Titan. The rest of the team shows up. Incon, he is channeling that Defender of Olympus. And just going to show up at the last minute and say, hey, boys, I was here as the Titan goes down.
20-3. Once again, started off a little slow, except for Xeno and the bots decided they wanted to get a few quick and cheeky picks. The first one being onto McSidy, and ever since then, it was that slow downhill from McSidy. He never got that footing that he needed. He lost out on a lot of farm, and again, objectives being the big name for this game.
For sure, and you know, we talked about the Odin and synergy with the team, and I still stand by that statement. Odin didn't have a whole lot of synergy with that team, but like we said, it really didn't matter with the way that everybody else was playing. Just they came together perfectly in that match to run right over the Grabowskis.
I mean, that game, Uzi was just you have Phantom, you don't have Phantom anymore. That's all that Uzi needed to do that entire game, was just burn the Phantom so that if he caught one, maybe two members out, they were going to be able to pick him up. You saw how quickly Shadow Q got burned despite having the Phantom. He got out of the cage, pulled back into the cage, and had to walk out yet again. That's just the power that Athena provides, and I can imagine going into the later games of the day, teams should not and probably won't allow Incon to go through and get this god, but tell us a little bit about our standings so far.
Yeah, we have the standings here. Xeno and the bots, they have 1 point in one match here, and Grabowski's end up splitting with this one. A 40 IQ Overlords sitting at the top with Salsa Squadron as well. So one more match, and I believe we need a tiebreaker, don't we?
We still have quite a few more to go through. I mean, with everybody still at 1 point, there's 2 more sets to go through, so there's still a lot of potential to kind of break out these ties. In the end, if there are some ties, we might end up going to a tiebreaker. But for now, with just the 4-way split through. Still got another couple sets to go.
All right, we'll get into those just as soon as possible, so be sure you stick around. I'm going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with our next sets of the day. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the North American Challenger Circuit. For today, I am Rog the Dwarf, and we are joined by the one and only All Aboard Freight Train.
Oh, what's going on? The train is in the station, everybody. I'm glad to do some Challenger Circuit again on the NA side of things. Ready to rock and roll. We got the Grabowskis versus Salsa Squadron, and I'm excited to see Sheikah again, man. I love Sheikah.
Yeah, absolutely. Grabowski starting this one out, banning out the Ganesh, Salsa Q, banning out the Kukulin.
I mean, just typical stuff you don't want to deal with. Kukulin, probably one of the best solo laners right now. Overall, just really probably one of the strongest picks in the game. Just with those two ultimates that he gets when he, rage stance switches. And Ganesh is just a powerful support that offers a lot of control and objective secure. Same thing can be said really when it comes to control for RDO getting banned.
RDO, of course, is just very, very difficult to deal with. As a stand switcher, she just has so many options at the very beginning of the game. Grabowski's opting to grab the Athena. Saw how well Incon ran that one last time, and hey, won it for themselves. Salsa Q heading for the Geb.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to end up at least helping out one of the team members. If Shadow Q is able to get multiple taunts off, obviously then he's not going to be able to Geb shield. Or if Geb gets taunted himself, not going to be able to shield out. But at least you'll have an option if Geb is in the back line, which typically he's a little bit more of a reactive support than as a, aggressive, unless he has that blink going online. But the Geb should be able to help out some of the taunts and get a little bit of peel going. But Shock is probably an interesting pick coming out here in the solo. And I mean, it's just chalk, man. He just doesn't really bring a lot to the end game, in my opinion. Like, if games go past 30 minutes, what is Chalk really doing?
Not much. I mean, he's got the big silence, but it only lasts for a couple of seconds. His pop-up really isn't that powerful. The area of effect slow that he has, he can kind of help you chase down people, but you're right, he falls off so hard in that mid to late game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the chalk, man. That's always what we joke about it. But he is a very strong character. By no means, I mean, you get a mystical male in the character and you build him correctly, you can easily have 25,000 damage or something like that. So it's still a matter of how the build's going to be. Are we going hybrid or are we going straight defensive? But Ra is going to be on the other side of Grabowski's. That's going to go over to Mandray, and this is a standard Mandray pick right here, Ra.
Yeah, he does like those, the long-range sniper kind of characters that he can do a lot of damage on. Ho Yi will be locked in, pairing up with the Athena. Hey, man, I love that. A taunt into the Mark of the Golden Crow stun. That's just a beautiful combo.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to either slow him down. You don't even have to get the stun off right away because you have Athena taunt. You wait for it to go down. Then you sit there, you stun him again. You're going to have less diminishing returns on the stuns. And that's really going to be a big factor in the dual lane. And really just comes to these objective plays if, Shadow Q's able to get some good taunts off into Diesel's ultimate. But Soul going to be selected up here. This is interesting. Soul obviously could get played in either role, mid ADC. We'll see where it ends up going. But Erlong and Neja going to get banned out along with Odin and Osiris for Grabowski's.
Yeah, really picking on the solo laners, the Grabowskis are, which I'm not really sure why, since the Chalk is already locked in, but with the Kernunos for Salsa Q, I'm pretty sure we'll see Soul there in the mid.
Yeah, it's more likely going to go to Sheikah. And Sheikah is just a guy that, he has a pretty good god pool, able to sit there and play the hunter, type characters like J-Mac said with J-Mac earlier with the Uller play. Like I said, that's more of a Sheikah thing. But Sheikah can play the Soul as well in those, quote, AD carries. So as we have double Raz on the Grabowskis. Dude, double heals, double snipes. Man Ray's going to end up running both of them.
Okay, never mind. Bologna instead. I thought it might have been a Morgan just in disguise as Raw, but no,
it could have been. It could have been a jungle Morgan just being like, I'm going to turn into Raw all the time. But,
locking in the Bologna and the Raven. More than likely, Bologna going to the solo lane. Raven jungle as Salsa Q looks for their last pick of the day. Who would you like to see round this team out?
Well, I guess I don't get a chance to say who I would like because Gabracket is going to get picked up pretty quickly right there. Now, this is an interesting selection. Gabracket, we see some of him back and forth. I mean, he had a huge impact a couple of seasons ago and splits ago where he was a large, jungle and solo lane pick. Now we've kind of seen him slowly make his way back. His ultimate is really, really powerful in these jungle fights, especially if you're going to be around those, the speed buff and invading with that level 5 ult. So we'll see how it ends up playing out, especially since not so many people can get past it.
Yeah, well, we get into the start of this one here, and the Cabrakan pick is, at the end of Season 3, he was just such a hot pick there, especially in the NA. But at the start of Season 4, man, he really started falling off. But you're right. He does bring a lot of control, and he can also bring a lot of bursty damage. A young lad going to be on the Cabrakan for us.
A lot of people forget, this Cabrakan, he has a lot of different abilities in his kit. He's got the ability to sit there and not be slowed. So you can sit there and just run around. You become root immune, slow immune on his one. You got another stun. He has a lot of control, as you said. And again, that wall could be really annoying. And he's going to start off with the horrific emblem. So he really wants to get this on early.
Yeah, and his chase potential is just amazing, like you said, Freight. Once he pops that first ability, he gets those immunities, and just moving at double speed takes a little bit of poke from the Robin early. Bruh gets hit by Xenon Hawk's big hammer, and the laugh taunt comes out.
Yeah, I actually love the secondary pickup here. Normally, you would, if this was a physical jungler, you would see a Bluestone, but the Vampiric Shroud going to have that physical protection online, and anything he hits with abilities is going to end up helping him get mana and health back. So this is a great selection of the Vampiric Shroud. Really like it to see it on these magical tanky type junglers, or even if you're going to throw them in the solo lane.
Yeah, and Bro and Young Lad over here on this right side really looking to get the clear off between the Robin and the Bologna. Just between the Tremors and Chalk's Axe, they should be clearing this lane very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're looking to do. Get Chalk to that level 2 mark, level 3 mark, where he's going to have 2 points in his axe. And I don't know if I slipped or not, but 1 point into the axe and then another point into the 2 where he's able to sit there and teleport to it. Should have plenty of clear opportunities. That's the one thing that Chalk does bring. We mentioned not the best late game, past 30 minutes or so, but his pre-15 is amazing.
Yeah, and, Chalk, I like Chalk personally, but as far as games like these, man, he does not hold up very well. Mid-roll with the blink in. Man, he gets the pop-up, forcing Shadow Q and Diesel out of that one. Pretty aggressive there, but unfortunately, Grabowski, they claim vision in that pit.
Hey, look, it's 90 seconds. You're not planning on using that blink more than likely until you get an ultimate again. I completely respect the blink shockwave to sit there and try to steal it. Shockwave does more damage when you're closer to your targets. It's a simple sit to play. Might as well go ahead and use the blink.
Hey, you're not really going to be using it anyway until you hit that level 5 mark, and then he's going to be looking for those blink cataclysms, which can make it just a huge impact.
Like I said, either way, they get the vision, but there is a physical ward there that's being placed by the Salsa Squadron here on the red side, so they'll be okay. As they sit there and look, there's a pretty deep invade. Diesel and Shadow Q going for these back harpies, but they're going to be met by Sheikah and the rest of the Salsa Squadron.
Oh, man, and it gets the nice silver burst on top of them, and they're getting collapsed on. Sops is here as well as Minerals. Oh, beautiful Bramble Blast will stop Shadow Q in his tracks, and the chase is on. Mineral with the rollout will catch him. Another stellar burst, and he's forced to use the shield wall to get away. Diesel trying to do his best. Gets poked down to half, man. Those guys gotta be careful going that deep, just a little out of position.
They got away with it, though. That's the thing. I mean, Diesel actually taking less damage in return, looking to get aggressive, and that's going to be a nice knockup by Mineral to sit there and peel out for Sops. But really, the turnaround was just Sops took more in return off of a nice ricochet from Diesel. When you get into those corridors, sometimes, as much as you can play ADC, look, that ricochet can come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it absolutely can. I mean, he doesn't even have to necessarily have eyes on you. Sops, he dashes in pretty aggressively as Diesel and Shadow Q still very low, and Shadow Q doesn't have a whole lot of mana for this turnaround either.
But they both at least hit level 5 here on the side of Grabowski's, and that's going to be because of those getting those oracles a little early, and even that back invade that I believe they were successful on. So now everyone's kind of backing here on the Grabowski side. Pretty much level 5 across the board, looking to maybe see some sort of aggressive coming out. Maybe in the mid lane, they want to maybe jump on Sheikah, or if they want to try to get Diesel ahead, maybe they'll come over here to the left-hand side.
Yeah, everybody, we've seen some invades, but not a whole lot of fighting just yet. Some great back and forth. Nobody really wanting to pull the trigger this early in this set.
Well, speed buffs are coming up now. Everyone's going to be going to the right-hand side. And yesterday in EU, I can tell you, after doing the games there, this was the point of contention in nearly every single game was the order side speed buff. This was invaded and consistently put pressure on the entire game. Looking like not going to be so much the case here in this game, but it does look like Sauces will end up spawning here in a little bit. Young Lad going to attempt to sit there and scout out some Harpies, but they're not quite up yet. We'll just wait for his timers and then clean them up.
Yeah, so Freight, tell me just why that order sign speed buff is so important to put pressure on.
I mean, it just allows you to sit there. Actually, no, wait, left-hand side, can't talk about that. Sops went in, and so did Diesel, actually, with the ultimate. Nothing going to come out of it, but Diesel's ult is down, at least there. Going back to that, as we do see the oracles now get put up, so we'll go back to that in a little bit and see if this is any sort of engagement.
Well, they will claim one, but they will split him. Sops, he does a great job. Shadow Q channeling, and he ends up over on the right side of the map with Mexiety. It taunts Young Lad back and forth, but on the left side, Mineral still chasing Diesel, gets the pop-up, and a big rotation there from Xenon Hawk, but nothing really coming through it.
I mean, the 3v2 is actually going in the favor of Salsa. I mean, that's going to be a decent amount of damage. I mean, this is what Chalk does. Able to throw out the axes, get the heal back up. I mean, again, his early game is really strong, and Shadow Q teleporting over there, just kind of led the way for maybe what could have been an advantage, but they were too far in a tower there. But going back to what you said earlier, Rock, with why the speed buff invades, it's just a control factor and slowing down the other team's jungler / mid. Normally, those two are the ones that are going to be sharing that buff, maybe the support sometimes. If you can sit there and steal, 2 or 3 of them early on, especially pre 7 minutes, you're probably looking at having at least 1, if not a 2-level lead for your own jungler.
And that, just putting pressure on there and stopping the other jungler from rotating, man, that's you are absolutely correct. Still, the rest of them just kind of clearing out their own buffs. We do see Xenon Hockey is back in this lane, bro, and Young Lad doing a good job of keeping him under tower, but like we said, Chalk is going to be able to do that in the early game. Come the late game, Bologna is going to be making just a crazy big impact in these team fights.
Well, Bra's going to be seeming to maybe go for these objective secures. He's got the Hand of the Gods online. He does have that big silence. We've seen silences come into effect previously in other SPL games. A la Nox with the MLC Stealth and Pretty Primes that come out where you throw out the silence and no one can actually use any abilities to secure an objective. Well, my man Bra, he can jump in silence and then Hand of the Gods and secure a Fire Giant. So that might come into play later on. So far the build is looking pretty interesting for Bra, and I like it with what he's going to be able to do, past that 30-minute mark, as we keep saying, kind of where Chalk's going to falter off.
Yeah, silence is just, it really is an underrated CC because we don't really have a whole lot of gods that do have silences in the game. But that's one of the reasons why Ganesh has been such a top pick, top ban here, because that Ohm ability, we saw him banned out in this game as well. That Ohm ability can just stop a team in their tracks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the silence is really good, especially when you can get a little bit of protections online for the rest of your teammates in a circle. Can't complain about getting anybody extra protections. You're always going to accept that. Blue buffs or blue order side speed buff will go down, and then we're looking at these elementals to sit there and follow through. Young Lad actually going to end up taking a decent amount of poke damage. Got Raw Snipe, but still okay.
Oh, but then Mineral shows up and stuns him out in the backline. Young Lad, he is forced away. Rally there, says Bologna, but doesn't trap him in. Young Lad finally goes down. Mexiety will find it, but Xenon Hockey is in a lot of trouble. Forced out the right side. Another great taunt. Shaka gets hit, but oh man, Xenon Hawk, great turnaround right there. Xenon Hawk does go down. Shaka receiving the Geb shield will help. And this it looks like speed buff. Man, just trying to invade it. Nobody wants to give it up. Everybody hanging around.
Yeah, I mean, the Supernova attempt to come out by Shaka, not going to be able to secure it. Mexiety will end up grabbing that. Sadly, the speed buff will end up going the way of Grabowski's. On the left-hand side, we are going to have an interesting Diesel made a turnaround on the other side. Sops doesn't see this. Going to end up getting marked up. Not even marked up. No, there's the Geb shield. That might force him away, but Shadow Q actually going to land into the Wild Hunt. Woo, if Shadow Q's any lower, actually, wow. Wow, Shadow Q.
Just great reaction time there from Sops. As soon as that Athena hits the ground, man, here, piggy, piggy, piggy.
Yeah, that actually almost ends up leading in Shadow Q's death right there. Bramble Blast does enough, but I think the raw heal from Man Ray just enough to sit there and keep him up with the 1 HP that he was there. And, again, that's really where it comes to warding. They have the top side warded, but not the very corner, and Diesel's able to make a rotation and possibly a play. But this dual lane's been pretty active lately.
They really have. Going just a lot of great back and forth between there. It's still only 1-to-1 read the kills. And as far as gold lead, 600?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is nonchalant. This is nothing. I mean, we're just kind of hanging out here at this point. The game is dead even. Sitting at near 10-minute mark. It's, like I said, a couple hundred here or there. This is just a very wide open game. And these type of close games, when they're played this close to heart, it's just a matter of, again, who's going to make that one mistake that leads an opportunity, that's going to lead to the Gold Fury, that leads to the Portal Demon, and that eventually will lead to that 3,000-4,000 gold lead that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, And over here, a little bit of action. Oh, the ultimate from Younglad. He will trap Xenon Hawk. Can't quite make it under tower, but Bologna up and down. She finally gets out and around. Mexiety doesn't have any mana to back it up either. And once again, Younglad and Bruh really doing a great job in this lane, as you would expect. Well, going pretty deep, chasing Xenon Hawk here between the tier 2 tower. Axe just off the mark, however.
Yeah, got to be careful here. I mean, looking at the mid lane, kind of seeing where Mineral's at least he's in a position to kind of cut off Shadowkew and Man Ray. That's a great job by Mineral to sit there and understand where his teammates are, because when you're going to dive that deep, you really got to be careful of the mid rotation coming around the side.
And here we go. We see this speed buff on the order sign. It is respawning, but it looks like the rest of Salsa Q heading back for their own red. No invade quite yet.
Well, they got to make sure they get their own speed buff. That's priority right now for Salsa's. The Fen theirs, obviously, they know the timer. Grabowski's, they're going to be looking to sit there and get that one more time from Anxiety. So you got to make sure that you put a defense online for the speed buff. That's going to be the priority. If you have to sit there and win a fight, a Shadowkew is going to ult over the right on Xeon.
Oh, man, and there we go. The big rotation coming through, and Younglad in a little bit of trouble, but they are going to be safe under tower, especially as Mineral swings around as well. But we do see the pings coming out on that speed buff once again. Mineral with a great pop-up, and Sheikah, he already knows this is going to respawn, and the rest of the Grabowskis.
That's bad. Like, look, everyone had a back. Everyone from Salsa had a back because they got poked out in that engagement, and Grabowski's knew it, and they just took advantage of it.
Yeah, once again claiming the speed buff for Mexiety, and he's going to box back and forth with Bro here. Xenon Hawk is here as well, back and forth, and Bro is getting a little low on mana. Takes a lot of damage from that bludgeon, but they're going to swing back around for his blue buff.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing that little bit of a lead I talked about. When you can invade the other jungler's speed, you're going to end up getting that lead. They weren't able to get the first couple off, but now they've gotten the next two online. And that's, again, you see a one-level differential, and this is how you build those leads. Grabowski's understand that. They're sitting there taking care of business. Sheikah, the veteran, really, you know, he's played in some SBL games. He knows exactly what's going on. He's there on time, but the rest of his team just got poked out, and they're unable to really do anything about it, so Sheikah has to let it fall again.
And we are going to see a little bit of a fight over these oracles. Man, great shot there by Man Ray, and he will claim both of them. Vision in that pit goes the way of Grabowski's. Funny enough, Freight, with as well as the Grabowskis have been doing on these invades, they're actually down 400 gold.
Yeah, you know, they're getting these invades off, but they're not necessarily finding anything else afterwards. It's still like you're getting the experience, and that's always one of those weird situations when you're kind of like going around. They're actually up a very minor amount of experience, 600, and they're down a little bit of gold. Actually, Sheikah didn't even see what was happening. I was looking at the graphs. What occurred there?
Oh, it's just on that right side, man. Yeah, Shadowkew gets caught in that pit, and then Younglad throws out that big... the big walls there, his ultimate, trapping him in, and Sheikah was there to clean it up.
Well, that's going to end up being maybe they're... Yeah, it looks like Sheikah, they were looking for this left-hand side. Anxiety's here. Not going to be able to obviously start up any sort of Gold Fury fight, especially with Sops on the backside. Still spawning. I mean, we're at... Really, this is a slow-paced game. I mean, there's not a lot of action going on here at 13 minutes. We've got 3 kills on the board. This game is up and down. 400 experience lead going in the favor of Grabowski's, 300 gold differentials in the favor of Salsa. I mean, again, this is really just small, such small things to talk about because there's really nothing else going on.
Yeah, and these guys just really filling each other out in this one. Sops will get hit with the mark of the Golden Crow, gets stunned, but he'll be okay, and Diesel's got to be careful. He is running into a couple as Sheikah and Sops combine to take out their own red buff. Diesel forced to dive bomb defensively as the rest of Salsa Q will get their damage.
Yeah, you go ahead and give it a cheeky shot. Maybe you can get a bounce off and able to steal the red buff, but that's really going to be about the best you're able to do. And now, again, red buff going to get taken for the boys of blue. Grabowski will end up cleaning that up with the help of Diesel and Shadowkew. Anxiety gets at least a little bit of that experience as well with that Boombas. We still haven't seen any major objectives for play yet. Now with Rob Man Ray, he has that snipe available. It's just going to be a question of when do they want to sit there and make the play? Do they feel that they can win a team fight, you know, with this Athena, you know, versus Mineral and the Geb? Do they want to sit there and make an all-in play at one point in time and try to go for this?
It's going to be really difficult, but they are swinging over to this Gold Fury. So this
here we go. This might be the all-in. Yeah.
There we go. Shadowkew, they do pull it. Mineral and Sheikah sitting around up top, and Bruh hanging around the back. backside. He meets Mexiety there in the mid. The call is to disengage. Jock goes up, gets the silence on the Xenon Hawk. Beautiful taunt there by Shadowq, though, to force the turnaround. Man, everybody's just using their ultimates as the sun's rained down, and their rally flag is out. Still, no kills yet.
Shadowq ults on top of Xeon, who already used his ultimate, wasn't able to get anywhere. He got back into the fight at least, so now, I mean, like you said, pretty much everyone's ultimate other than Man-Rays is down. Double taunt coming in. The heal is placed on Xeon Hawk, looking to fall, but no, the shell's good. Wild Hunt not going to matter. Man-Ray gets the snipe on top of Mineral, though. That's going to be the second kill. Rollout not fast enough.
Oh, man, and Sops in the back line, he was looking for that Wild Hunt, but couldn't quite get it. Meanwhile, Diesel, he's going to contest these. Hey, he got him. He got the oracles over there, but great shot there by Man-Ray, man.
Yeah, I mean, the rollout coming through Mineral was super low. That was an easy sniper sit there and attempt. I mean, Geb obviously going to roll out straight down the line. I mean, again, this is the danger of fighting in these jungle corridors. You pretty much know the routing and the path that the opponent's going to take. He has to go straight. That's his only way. Hit that raw snipe, easy peasy, and that's Man-Ray's specialty. He hits these snipes without setup required, and that's what makes Man-Ray such a good player, in my eyes, able to hit it without setup.
Doing a great job here so far, but once again, the score is just tied, man.
Yeah.
I mean, 15,
really
16,
nothing.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot going on. We do see a fully stacked Book of Thoth for Man-Ray, plus that Spear of Desolation. Yeah, that kind of explains why he's hitting so dang hard right now.
I mean, again, the only level differential is actually Mexiety, and again, that's because of the speed buff invades it. But the gold differential is just so minute of 300. Again, the one level isn't a big deal. This is still a really close game, and this is entertaining. I actually like these games more than like the 30 kills that you'll have at 20 minutes or whatever. It's just a little bit more controlled of a game, and it just seems like that one death that ends up occurring, whoever gets the 5 kills first might be the team that's in the driver's seat.
We do see SalsaQ just with a little bit more of a lead, kind of climbing up to 1,000. But as far as experience rate, I mean, it bounces back and forth like 8. Oh, Shadowq. Oh, what the heck happened there?
Well, I was watching the speed buff, and bruh thought it was a good idea to tack on the speed buff when 4 members were rotating. So that was just bruh making a very bad mistake, and we said mistakes were going to be the reason why you could win or lose this game, and that's going to end up leading to Portal Demon. Man-Ray doesn't have a snipe available, so the Supernova going to come out. Is he going to secure it? Oh!
They do get it, and Sheikah actually wanted to hit it with a Stellar Burst, but unfortunately for him, Shadowq stopped that Stellar Burst from making it. Young Lad does the rotation over there, and Sops gets Diesel over in the Oracle Pit.
Oh, Sops is crying the Gold Fury. He's in Lifesteal stance, has 70 Devo stacks online. He should be able to do this relatively well. And it looks like now Mexiety's over here, but with no ultimate online for Mex, he just has to punch his way. Young Lad gonna get stunned out. Salsa will get the Gold Fury, and Sops claims the life of Mexiety. So we have a trade out for objectives.
Still, Grabowski's down by 2 right now. Mexiety and Diesel back in base for at least the next 20 seconds. And this would be a great time for SalsaQ to kind of turn up the heat, and they are at least able to claim their speed buff this time around.
Yeah, they'll go ahead and get that. That will at least help out Mr. Young Lad. And wait, no, did he? Oh, yeah, he did. Okay, I thought, I was like, why is he just walking around it like to defend it? It was weird. Either way, that all starts, Braum messes up on the right-hand side. Like, let's rewind about 2 minutes. So Braum messes up on the right. He's going for the speed buff invade. He dies. But Sop's ability to solo Diesel really turns that around in the fact that they're able to get the Gold Fury off of, because then they win another fight in mid earlier, and it just really works out in their favor because Sops is able to get that solo kill.
Yeah, and not only do they get the Gold Fury, that tier 1 tower in the dual lane will fall the way of SalsaQ. So Sops, man, doing great, 2-0-0 right now. Hey, that's a great slash line. I mean, sure, it's 18 minutes in. There's only 7 combined kills, but 2 of those are going to your Hunter.
Yeah, and 2 of those are also going to Sheikah, who's on Soul, which is your other big powerhouse, damage. So this is really positive if you're, a Salsa fan. You're getting most of your kills on these big boys, and Man-Ray will actually, well, we won't count that as that was a zoning snipe. He just was, we call all missed ultimates zoning ultimates. So, he was just making sure that no one else went that direction. That's all it was.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. It wasn't a miss. It was very tactical right there. Fighting on the right side, Xenon Hawk and Xenon Hawk and Mexiety are over here. Bludgeon, just off the mark, doesn't hit Young Lad, and bruh, makes it back to base, just backs right there in front of everybody, and they just let him.
Yeah, and really, I mean, at this point, the soul laners, everyone's so tanky. I mean, level 16 Jocks. Young lad, he's 14 now. He's got his breastplate of valor online. Looking at the druid stone, this more than likely will end up being a void stone, so he can have some of that hybrid damage and defense going on. And well, he's pretty tanky. He can just tremor the wave like he's doing now and just take it off.
Yeah, he's not going to have any trouble really clearing the wave. And as far as the early game pressure that they had, it really is starting to fall off here for Salsa Q. But with the team fights, hang on, over on the left hand side, Diesel forced out, and Salsa Q looking for the invade on the red. Shadow Q and Maxiety show up. Nice taunt onto Mineral, but it does look like Grabowski's do secure their red buff there, so that will go their way.
Well, so yeah, he put the heal on top of it, trying to at least get it deterred, and got a heal on it, so that will do enough damage. Bra is just tanking a tower right now, doesn't even care. I love this because he's keeping his minions alive to keep the backdoor protections up by tanking the tower first, understanding he has enough health for it, and now here comes the fight. Shadow Q's there, one-man taunt. Bra might be in a little bit of trouble, but still has ultimate. The slow is used on the horrific, and well, he'll just walk right past the walls.
Yeah, absolutely, but the sprint was pop as well in response to the slow, so he gets out of there, and Young Lad just a little off the mark with those walls, but still he helps peel for his for his teammate and then gets to safety.
That's really all that comes down to, is more of a peeling ultimate. That was the legit, doesn't matter if I missed this. This is more, this is the actual I need to peel / zone ultimate that we're looking for. And again, like I said, Bra able to take that tier 1 tower down. His is really healthy, so that's going to be more of a deterrent for Xeon Hawk, because Xeon's got to match these rotations from Chalk, because you don't want your solo laner loose.
Yeah, and especially with the Swift Wing on the Chalk, he's going to be moving really, really quick. And I would like to see a Shield of Regrowth on him as well.
You might end up seeing that later on, more toward like the last item. It's just going to be one of those, all right, hey, we're almost full build. We need to get some health. What can I get? A little cooldown, and here, there, we'll see what ends up happening. So the Shield of Regrowth might be something that comes online later down the road. But what is going to have to happen, you see Sheikah starting to build it right now, the Divine Ruin, and hopefully Chalk gets a Pestilence, as he's going to end up ulting the Silence, Anxiety, Overhead Kick, going to immune all that, and he's fine. But you got to get this anti-healing online.
Oh, Young Lad, he had a great wall right there, but he is kind of there by himself as the rest of the team finally shows up. Chasing a Mineral with the blink, finds 2. Oh, Man Ray not getting the damage that he wants. Maxiety forced out as well, and everybody just keeps diving in, and the taunt. What's going on here? Sops around the right-hand side, getting Shadow Q, the Sun's rain down. Called a disengage, though. A lot of abilities, a lot of ultimates used right there, and it's all for show.
Well, they're going to end up going for the Portal Demon. I think this is a mishap on the side of Xeon and Shadow Q's timing of things, because Shadow Q puts the ultimate on Xeon. Xeon is expected to go in. Xeon ults over with Eagle's Rally, but the problem is wherever you're standing is where Athena's going to go based on your launch point. He didn't land on time, so they're going to go for Fire Giant the whole time while the team's going for Gold Fury. We have a little bit of an okey doke happening. Man Ray looking to sit there and make his way over. Ultimate is coming up shortly. I don't think he has enough time, though.
No,
there's the hand of the wow.
Wow, and Shadow Q just gets erased right there. The body blocks and the CC is real.
I love that call.
Yeah, it's it's just crazy, man. Oh, they're going over for the Gold Fury. Hey, that leaves everybody over here for the Fire Giant. The only one able to make the rotation is Shadow Q, and he pays for it dearly.
The Portal Demon was just done, so I understand. That's the mentality that Smite players need to go ahead and remove from their head. Oh, they got X objective, we need to get Y objective. They got the objective that leaves the Fire Giant. You can't go to the left-hand side of the map then, man, and just leave that open. In this case, look at these towers just fall. My man Kernados has a crazy build online. The Kins is there. He's got tier 2 of the Titan's Bane, which he's going to be leading to. He's doing plenty of tower damage at level 19, and now these towers are getting shredded. Salsa Squadron putting themselves in a really good position. This game was close up until about 18 minutes. When you look at these graphs, all of a sudden downhill from there.
Yeah, that Fire Giant just huge right now, and these towers are getting shredded. Grabowski's not able to do a whole lot, but Sheikah, he gets hit with a snipe, but once again, Shadow Q with a Bramble Blast and the shots from the Kernunos, man, he goes down. Sheikah is in some trouble, drops a Supernova zone for himself. The tier 2 tower will fall, and the fight is on as Bros chasing down Diesel. Young Lad gets Maxiety up around the north side, but they are still pushing down this lane pretty hard, and the Grabowski's trying to retreat, but Salsa Q don't want to let him.
No, I mean, the raw heals are maybe enough for a little bit of while, but the power of the Fire Giant in the regen of that is more than enough for Sops and crew. Sheikah was barely pretty much a quarter HP, able to use his 1 to regenerate, plus the Fire Giant. Look at this. I mean, we're sitting at 24 minutes. Young lad erases Diesel. The Phoenix in the mid lane looking to also go down as well.
Seen on the Hawk here trying to zone him out, and Shadow Q once again going in, but very, very aggressively, and he has forced out once again. Man Ray just off the mark with his snipe, and the shell is used for the rest of Salsa Q, and this Phoenix will fall while bruh, he's just doing chalk things.
Yeah, it's his job. I mean, 24 minutes in the game, now 25. This is exactly the moment in time where Chalk shines, and I mean, this is what you want out of your draft. The draft coming out from Salsa is executed perfectly. You know, again, you're going to get all the towers. You're getting 2 Phoenixes down prior to, we're right around this 25-minute mark. You couldn't ask for a better type of scenario going on for this draft composition that they have from Salsa Squadron. It's been executed perfectly. They had a close early game, which is, you know, acceptable, and then they're able to turn it around with that one play.
Yeah, that Fire Giant, man, really got to give a lot of credit to Salsa Q here, because they took that Fire Giant and wiped out nearly every permanent objective left on the board. They used that to perfection.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else you can do about that. 3-8 now, read the kills. I mean, again, we'll take a quick peek. I mean, we're looking at a 10K gold deficit almost, over 6K experience lead. Everyone's backing right now. Let's see what type of items we're purchasing. Let's see where we got some finished up, selling some stuff. Chalk's looking to sit there and figure out what he wants to buy. Sheikah's almost got his Obsidian Shard online. If he wanted to do that, he'll probably back here as soon as he gets that red buff. And yeah, the boys at Salsa are just getting their full items, and they're ready to rock and roll. And Chalk got a Nemean. Yep. There you go.
Nemean for Chalk. That'll help out with Diesel and probably some of the damage coming out of Mexiety. But, you know, he does get the Hide of the Urchin. Only a couple of stacks on that. A couple more kills, man. And, you know, Chalk, like we said, his damage falls off, sure, but he is still a big body that is hard to kill.
Yeah.
So he's going to be, you know, he's going to be soaking up so much damage.
That's really the objective of, obviously, the Soul Laner. I mean, you know, when you do draft somebody like a Chalk that, you know, his crowd control is a slow and is a silence on his ultimate. You know, you got to make sure, again, that these games are won around this time period, as you're going to have a Blink Anxiety. You're going to be in trouble 1v4. Anxiety, I don't know what you're going to be able to do here on the side. He doesn't even, I mean, he has no ultimate. He's pretty much dead, and it looks like Salsa is looking to put an end to this game.
Oh, young lad, just off the mark with the walls. Ho Yi will jump over. Diesel will be safe, but caught in the tremors is Shadow Q. He goes down once again. Man Ray cranking out some damage. Mineral very, very low, but Sops cleans it up with the Bramble Blast, and this Firebird on the right-hand side. Phoenix will fall very, very quickly.
Yep, Sops going to do work on it, and I love the aggressive nature coming up from Sops. He's been dashing forward all game long, sitting there, putting in the pressure on his other team, and really Diesel and the crew haven't have an answer for him. He's 4-0-4, just been doing work in this game. I mean, he's sitting at 24,000 player damage, and, well, Chalk's a little bit ahead of him, but that doesn't count. He has Mystical Mail. That's all cheap. That doesn't Mystical Mail damage. We don't count Soul Laners that have Mystical Mail. It's fake damage.
Fake damage. And you know, Chalk is just... he does a lot of damage anyway, because those axes are really easy to hit. He'll teleport, do the swing around, and then, you know, just get out of there with his rain dance. That's, you know, Chalk doing Chalk things.
Well, 3 Phoenixes down right now. Gerbowskis are looking at the end of things here, more than likely shortly enough, next minute or two, as we will see the Fire Giant attempt one more time. This is going to be 100% free. Should not be any sort of contestation coming out from Gerbowskis, as they had to sit there and obviously maintain the lanes. Now with the Fire Giant in hand at the 28-30 mark, pretty much should be the last siege attempt coming up for the boys of Salsa.
Mineral going in very, very quickly, gets taunted by Athena. Gets the pop-up onto 2. But you're right, Freight. This shouldn't last a whole lot longer. Salsa Q is in a great position to just pretty much pick a lane, push it through, and hey, Gerbowskis, what are you going to do about it?
Well, I mean, they pushed it the left-hand side, so one of the lanes won't have fire creeps rolling on in it, but you know, again, we look at it. Raw's going to sit there and tank it up a little bit. Sops is going to try to get this mid Phoenix down. And, well, once they get these next 2, they should be all right. And they're going to look for the fight. Sops actually forced to use both relics.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and he is getting in a little bit of trouble there. Once again, great wall there by Young Lad, trapping in 2 of them. And bam, the Mineral gets 1, Shaka gets another one. And this is going to be game right here as Diesel is forced out the back. A pop-up not so great, and they're not. Shaka gets Diesel right there, but the Titan is under attack, and it will fall, and that is game.
Just under 29-30 in the game, 3-14. Read the kills. You got to remember, Ed, at one point, this game was 3-3 at like near 15 minutes. So Grabowski's unable to find any sort of momentum, especially after that whole Portal Demon Fire Giant fiasco call that just did not go their way. Salsa Squadron takes the win.
Yeah, 14-3, the final kills, and I mean, just Salsa Squadron up about 15,000 gold there at the end, which is kind of disappointing for the Grabowskis since, I mean, kind of disappointing for the Grabowskis because, you know, they lost that last one to Xeno and the bots, and then they won the first one. They looked so great in that first game, and then they lost that one, and then they come out with a loss here, man. What do you want to see the Grabowskis do in this second game to really kind of bring them back into this competition?
Well, I mean, Shadow Q was the one that kind of faltered here at 1-5. He died 5 times. Anxiety, you know, the 3 tanks just couldn't really do anything. And Man Ray, he didn't die. Man Ray played a really good Raw game, 1-0-2. You know, was sitting there doing what Raw does. He had 22,000, near 23,000 player damage, top of his team. But just the rotations that came along, you know, it really comes down to that Sop soloing Diesel fight. Maybe Diesel needs a little bit more help in that lane than you would like to assist, and maybe Mex or whoever's jungling has to come on over that way and help him out. But that kill really led to that whole, you know, engagement of getting the Oracles, getting the Gold Fury, then eventually going to Fire Giant and Portal Demon. I mean, maybe you got to help Diesel out a little bit more.
Yeah, I really do appreciate the Carnunos playing so aggressively in that. And we will have some more games today, but, you know, we have SPL coming up here pretty darn quick. We are going to be switching channels coming up very, very soon. If you want to follow us, go to twitch.tv. Tier Monster is where we'll be broadcasting the next ones. So we will see you there. Take a quick little break as we get set up for the Tier Monster broadcast. Hey, it's going to be me and Freight. Hey, are you ready for this next one?
Oh, I'm always ready, my man. Let's go ahead and rock and roll. We will see you on the Tier Monster channel.